You spend your days on our atheism, dropping, well, actually with precision. Fedora tip katana on the wall. You're the smartest guy who never leaves his home. Mountain Dew stacked up like trophies on your desk. Cheeto dust, fingerprints on your
What's up, folks? Smash the like button, share live, do things you need to do.
Everything under the sun, but you haven't seen the sun since 2020.
I'm a tired guy today. It's gonna be could be a good day or a bad day, depending on your views.
Stroke there, you're changing minds, one down vote at a time, living your best life online. In this moment, I am euphoric. You posted that and thought it was historic. Debating teenagers about the flying spaghetti monster. Meanwhile, your mom's yelling, dinner's getting softer. You've never needed there. Neckbed, bait, eternal moderator, banning people for not playing fair. You're making a difference, fighting the good fight from your gaming chair tonight. Keep posting, king. Keep fighting the good fight. Don't let the normies bring you down.
It ruined the whole song. I'm sorry.
Mom,
I'm sorry.
the meatloaf.
It's just the internet. Nothing we could do about it. But just checking it now. Everything seems to be fine. It's just the internet. Nothing we could do about the internet, man. Nothing we could do about the internet. That is literally the company that we're stuck with. It's a very awful company, but it provides the fastest speeds. It's a garbage company, man. It's one of the worst. How do I go about the dinosaurs? I don't have to. I've never seen one. Never seen one. Only fast option, yeah. That's generally how it goes. All right, guys, smash the like button, share live, do the things that you need to do to make sure that we get out to the people that we need, especially those on TikTok. TikTok has been really getting me lately. We've been posting videos, and they're getting views on everywhere except TikTok. And I'm starting to think TikTok's got a vendetta against me, bro.
Probably.
Probably. That's probably the case. Also, I forgot to put you into focus.
How's my coloring?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to change that?
Change what?
My ISO?
You can do if you want. I'm a little green today for some reason, but that's the sun
Maybe- is
bouncing
that
light off
better?
the trees.
Maybe it's because of your shirt.
Well, no, it's the sun bouncing light off the trees because it was the same yesterday.
Oh.
Because it's very bright outside. Very nice day outside. I wish should have kept the ND filter, but I think if I'm going to get an ND filter, I got to get a nicer one. Don't place Abby on the screen. She's too shiny.
Bro.
Anyways, yeah, smash the like button, guys, especially if you're watching on TikTok, because we're going to need your help to get out to the people that we need to. Just for the Discord, I will listen at the ER. That's what's up, bro. Why are you at the ER? I hope you're working at the ER.
He's not.
Somebody's saying late in the shorts chat, so you might as well open it up. Actually, hold on. Before you open it up, let's do our prayer. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this blessing. Thank you for all that you give. Walk with us. Be present with us. Give us the strength to strike down the bad conversations. Hold on. Give us good conversations and the strength to strike down bad ones. In Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God is good. I'm really tired today. It's going to be a rough day, guys. This is going to be a rough day.
They're sending us out to the comment section, into the trenches with no protection, where reason dies and chaos reigns. The shorts chat battlefield.
I'm gonna need a cup of coffee.
Remains.
Oh, yeah.
We march into the spam and the bots. The brain rot takes everyone we've got. 15 seconds of absolute hell. This is where good soldiers fell. We're going to the
can't hear you.
Moderating madness, saying our last goodbye. Send reinforcements, we won't make it back. Lost in the shorts chat. Under attack. The comments move faster than we can read. Deleting nonsense, fighting the feed. First and ratio, echo in the void. Every brain cell systematically destroyed. We tried to bring order to the storm, but the algorithm doesn't conform. Three-word sentences, no punctuation. This is digital degradation. Now we're going to the shorts chat where souls go to die. Moderating madness, saying our last goodbye. Send reinforcements, we won't make it back. Lost in the shorts chat. Under attack. Remember us when
Oh,
we
thank you for
don't
giving the memberships.
return.
Appreciate you.
Our minds consumed, our spirits burned. We gave our sanity for the cause, fighting through TikTok's endless flaws. Tell our families we tried our best, but the shorts chat never rests. One more notification, one more reply. This is where the moderators die. We
heard that? Did you watch it for yourself and make your own judgments?
Go to die. Moderating madness, no one heard our cry. No reinforcements, we didn't make it back. Lost in the shorts chat.
Support the grift. Amen. Amen. How do you go from being woke to sleep? What?
The shorts chat claims another one. The battle's lost before it's begun. Where souls go to die. Goodbye.
My God. My God. Oh my God. It's going to be a rough day. I also got to apologize because today is going to be shorter. I started the live late because, well, I'm just always late. Let's be honest. I keep making excuses. The reality is I should probably set a later time because I'm always exhausted. But we also got to head out a little early today, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. Hopefully we get some good conversations before that happens. We could skip the dono goal and the like goal. We need to. Thank you for the coffee, woman.
Welcome.
To make sure we get enough conversations today. This is gonna be a rough day, guys. I might cuss some people out. Pray for the love of God. Pray that I don't get banned today. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. What is this? This is the coup. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. I got to do like a big thing to get TikTok has got so many loops and so many holes and so many issues and so many updates, and they don't want to work with anything else. And they just want you on their little app, man. And then they don't want to pay you anything. If they paid you well, I'd stay on their app, but they don't pay. They don't even pay Canadians. That's the craziest part. They don't even pay Canadians, man. They're just like, nah, bro. We ain't going to pay you jack. We ain't going to pay you jack. There we go. Got it. We got it. We got the TikTok chat up on the screen, I think. What's up, Wayne? How you doing, bro?
Hello, Wayne.
Let's see. Yeah. Well, gifts are showing up. But not the chats. Not the chat. That's weird. Oh dear. Oh my. Oh my goodness gracious. TikTok, no, TikTok's not as bad as the shorts by any means. So we're getting GIFs to show up on the screen, but we're not getting the actual chat to show up. Explain that to me. Explain that to me, ladies and gentlemen. Makes zero sense. Also, why's God Logic got to go live every time I go live now? Has he got beef against me? Huh? 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 Did I experiment with religion before committing to Christianity? It's not a sexuality, bro.
It's also not like a shoe that fits.
It's
just
not.
true.
It's not. Oh, that hole feels better. I'm gonna stay there. That's not how it works. All right, let's just bring up a guest. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm 20.
All right. I actually forgot to. That's not supposed to be ask me anything. That's supposed to be. I'm a Christian. Why I ought not be. So that's the topic today. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Because I don't think there's evidence for God.
Okay, congratulations.
So you would believe something that you don't have evidence for?
Who said I don't have evidence for it?
I don't have evidence for God.
Okay, congratulations.
So you have evidence for God.
Yeah.
So what is the evidence?
Is the topic that I'm supposed to convince you to be a Christian, or is the topic for you to convince me not to be?
Well, so you're burden shifting.
It's not burden shift. The topic is for you to convince me not to be a Christian. So you're actually burden shifting by trying to get me to convince you.
Well, that's like hosting a live and saying, convince me that.
Dude, stay on the app. We can't hear you when you leave. And also stop eating.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's like hosting a live and saying, convince me that unicorns don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right?
are allowed
It's
to
not
do
something. Yeah, but that's not something I can really provide evidence for.
You can convince people that unicorns don't exist. You don't think you can do that?
No.
Really? Oh, it sounds like a skill issue. So are you here to convince me not to be a Christian or what? All right, bro, get off my live with your freaking mouth sounds.
that. Gross.
You're disgusting. Disgusting little human being.
Smacking away.
What's up? What's up? Literally my only viewer on Kick. How you doing, bro?
Dude's holding down the fort over there.
Yeah, he was intentionally like doing the ASMR, bro. You can always tell these little shits come up and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna be so edgy and cool. Watch me annoy this guy." Oh,
I'd just like to say, unless you have a guest. Do you have a guest?
No.
I'd just like to say that 70% of our people have not watched The Chosen. What are you doing with your lives?
read between the lines. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
What are you doing with your lives?
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. 42. How do you deal with numbers 5?
And what do I need to deal with?
Question stands.
What?
1.
Yep, all of them.
1. Name 1.
We don't need a scholar. We need a plain reading of the text. How do you read it that it has
Get
anything
out of here,
to do?
bro.
Somebody call his mom.
Yeah, somebody call that guy's mom. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, man. Why ought I not be a Christian?
Yeah, because God doesn't fulfill the necessary criteria to be a necessary being.
Okay, prove it.
So necessary beings are beings that can't fail to exist in any possible world, but possible worlds can be hypothetical, and so I can just imagine a world in which God doesn't exist, in which that would be a world, that would be a possible world that he would fail to exist.
It's not how that works.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, just because you can imagine it doesn't mean that it's possible.
Yeah, unless there's a logical contradiction, that's what a possible world is.
No. Can you imagine a world where 2 + 2 = 7?
So that's going to be a contradiction.
Can you imagine a world where 2 + 2 = 7?
No, because that's a logical contradiction, and so that's not a possible.
You can't imagine that?
No, because that's a logical
I
contradiction.
can imagine that. It's not that hard.
Without like a contradiction on the axioms of math.
Axioms are things that are self-evident, that are granted. Could you imagine a world where the axioms don't exist?
Not the axioms of logic, no.
Why not?
I mean, this is like, I mean, if you're saying that like the laws of logic are not universal or necessary, then like that's just like a completely new.
I think it's impossible to argue
thing.
that laws of logic don't work, but you shifted, right? I'm talking about axioms in general.
Yeah. So I'm saying that the laws of logic are necessary in a way that God's not.
You're shifting.
I did not shift.
Yes,
I did not shift. I came talking about necessary.
I talked
necessary
about
beings.
specifically axioms, and you shifted to the laws of logic.
Yeah, because those are axioms. That's
yes.
What do you mean? I shifted?
Yeah. So
what do you mean? Those are axioms.
Oh my God, these people are so fucking stupid. Are all axioms logic?
No, axioms can be whatever you want them to be.
Right. Awesome. So can you imagine a world where axioms don't exist?
No.
Okay. You can't imagine a world where we could actually find sufficient evidence to prove logic?
No, because so if you could, then
I can.
Something else would be axiomatic and not logic.
What?
That is the dumbest
So
argument
if
I have ever heard.
Sure.
God not real because me imagine a world without him. Congratulations. Reminder to all to pay $2 Jizya.
Yeah, so that's just going to go to the definition of what necessary is. So necessary is a being that can never fail to exist in any possible world, right? You and Mike can both agree that's what necessary means, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could imagine a possible world in which there is no God, then definitionally that means that he's not necessary, because you did the thing that violates the definition.
Okay, provide the argument.
Yeah, so I just did. So a necessary being is a being that cannot fail to exist in any possible world.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine a possible world in which God fails to exist. Therefore, God is not a necessary being.
So just because you can imagine the world does not mean
yes,
that world
that's
can
what a
actually
possible world
exist.
is. Yeah, that's what a possible world is.
That's not what a possible world is.
That's it. Yeah, I get. Yeah. So do you want to give a more robust definition of a possible world?
Yeah, a possible world is something that could actually exist.
No, that's not true. A possible world is just a world free of contradiction. For example, let's say it rains spaghetti, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously impossible, but that's still a possible world in which it rains spaghetti.
That's not impossible.
Okay. Okay, I guess, sure.
If imagining a world where something doesn't exist means it doesn't, then imagining a world where something does exist means it does.
What was that? If I imagine a world where something doesn't exist mean it doesn't, then imagining a world where it does. Man, I'm tired today. Then imagining a world where something does exist means it does.
No, because you can imagine things.
No, I agree. I agree with you. He's not right. It's not how that works.
Yeah, and so I mean, I would say there's no physical way that it could rain food, that would be a miracle. But miracles, for example, aren't logical contradictions. Miracles are still exist in possible worlds. Maybe miracles actually happen. Just because things are impossible doesn't mean they're logical contradictions or can't exist in possible worlds.
What?
So you say that a possible world has to be possible, it has to be, and it just has to be logically possible. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to actually. Like, for example, like there could be like a grizzly bear in your room right now. That's a possible world, even though like it's impossible. There's a
Is there
grizzly bear in your room.
is there a possible world where existence doesn't exist?
No, that's a contradiction. That would be like an
Right.
A and not A.
Right, great. What do Christians think God is?
Sorry, you cut out.
What no, I didn't. What do Christians think God is?
Unnecessary being.
Hold on, I set you up for it.
Sure.
You don't think a world can?
Yeah,
you don't think there's a possible world where existence cannot exist, right?
It's
You already agreed to that. So what do Christians think God is? What is the classical, like, because we're saying God is a necessary being? Yeah. What do they mean when they say he's a necessary being? Come on, man. You walked right into it. You might as well finish it.
that he's like something that cannot fail to exist, I guess. I don't know. What? Do the syllogism. Finish the argument.
These guys come in so condescendingly and confident. They talk down their nose at you, and they can't even figure out like the basic like reading comprehension skills to figure out what the next step in what I'm saying is. Let's see if you can do it, man. If there is no possible world where existence doesn't exist, what do Christians think God is?
Sure. A necessary being.
Oh my God, you fucking idiot. God bless.
No, so the problem with your argument is that God is not merely defined as existence.
You're not
he has other
good
attributes.
faith. You're an actual idiot. God bless. Appreciate you. See, he knew what I was saying. As soon as I was kicking him, he wanted to say that God is existence. As soon as I was kicking him, then he just started jumping. Wait, no, God, what you're trying to say is God is existence. He knew exactly what I was doing. He knew. He just wanted to play a semantic game. So get lost. You don't want to argue in good faith. Go eat a butthole. Guess mom says come upstairs, your Pop-Tarts are ready. Is this person gonna connect?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm unfortunately 32, man. I'm getting old. I would ask
Don't
how you were, but after
I'm
that,
older than you.
well, I mean, it's true, right? I mean, we're getting old. That's okay.
No, we're still young. Hold on, think about this. Hold on. Think about this. Do you plan on dying before 60?
Oh, I hope not.
Right. Okay, great. Well, you get to live your life again. All over again. You get to do it twice.
Okay, you made me feel better about my age today. I appreciate it. You know what? That's a good start.
10,
yeah.
You don't really remember.
Yeah. So. No, come on. I remember what I was doing when I was 8. Like anyways, vaguely. I'm not I came just at, I'm not smart enough to have this conversation. I was just wondering if someone does actually convince you, which they're not going to, how would you actually go about giving them the taco?
I bought people tacos before. All they do is they buy it and I pay for it.
Oh, okay. You just paying back. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate the time. Take care.
No problem. God bless.
Nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe, I guess I'm cooked.
Yeah, you don't get to live your life twice, Gabe. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 22.
All right, man.
I'm good.
I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Okay. If Jesus is the only begotten Son of God, how could...
Also, can just pause real quick. Can you give your dog a really big scratch on the head and say, good boy?
Hell yeah. Good boy.
There you go. All right. Go ahead, man.
Basically, I'm going off of, if Jesus is the only begotten Son of God... I don't know what
happened, but you sounded really clear, and now you sound like you're talking through a walkie-talkie. I don't know what happened. What changed?
All right. What about now?
It's the exact same. It's fine, though. We can work with it. It's fine. Go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
So if Jesus is the only begotten Son of God, that would mean that God is the only one without origin, right? meaning that God was there before Jesus.
No, because it's the eternal begotten Son, right? So if you read like the Nicene Creed, it says begotten, not made, right? So it's eternal.
So on the Nicene Creed, that was created because Emperor Constantine, and there was an Arian priest going around who basically said what I just said, that God, how could Jesus be the only begotten Son of God if God is the only one without origin? Which means Jesus isn't there in the beginning. So Emperor Constantine had a huge meeting, basically with all the emperors, as I'm sure, or
No,
popes, as I'm sure you know.
No, he didn't. He just hosted it. He had nothing to do with the meeting.
Constantine?
Yeah.
At the Council of Nicaea, had nothing to do with the meeting.
No, yeah, he just hosted it. He just allowed everybody to gather where he was. Constantine actually ended up becoming an Arian afterwards.
Exactly, which is weird.
Yeah. No, it's not weird. It's just everybody wants to say that Constantine is the reason for the Trinity and started the Bible and blah, blah. And everybody points to him, but he's actually contrarian to those viewpoints for most of his life. And then, so he switched it to Arianism, and then he switched back to where on his deathbed, or so the story goes, back to Trinitarianism.
On his deathbed, though, he was baptized by he was an Arian priest.
I'd have to double check that.
But I mean,
but it's neither here nor there.
I don't know. To me, that just seems a little fishy. I guess if you don't believe that, go to that.
Well, I'm just saying it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If Constantine didn't become an Arian, then everybody's like, oh, he did all this and made the Trinity and blah blah blah. If he did become an Arian, oh, that's a little fishy that he switched his viewpoints. It's like, oh well, we lose no matter what we do.
The strongest. Yeah. So, are you aware of like Josephus and like Vespasian and Titus and all that?
I'm aware of Josephus and Titus. Who was the other person?
Vespasian was his dad.
I don't know about him.
So, have you ever heard of? It's a documentary. It's called "The Roman Conspiracy to Create Jesus" or something. It's Caesar's Messiah, the Roman conspiracy to create Jesus. I'm just asking so I don't have to explain it if you already know.
Nope, never heard of it.
Okay, so Josephus was captured by the Romans, right?
Yeah, there was a point where he was captured.
And
am I thinking of Tacitus? I might be thinking of Tacitus, but either way.
Yeah, no. But Josephus is captured by Vespasian and Titus. And then Josephus tells them that, like, when they're going to cut his head off, you're the Messiah, basically. Are you familiar with this?
No. What's your point, though?
So my point is that the New Testament. Okay, let me pause because I'll really ramble and then I'll lose my point. I'll just sound like an idiot. So let me just get like 10 seconds. Josephus basically was captured by the Romans. He told Vespasian and Titus that you're the Messiah because there was a prophecy of a Messiah that was going to save them from the oppression. And Messiah means anointed one, right? And Jesus isn't the only Messiah technically. Like King David was a Messiah, right?
Oh, well, it depends on what semantic you're looking at. When we're talking about the Messiah, right? The Christ is very different than just being anointed. All right, man. You're out of the app, and this is taking way too long. I might jump on, unless you want to land the plane.
Basically, I'm just trying to say, is Josephus... All right, look, the Old Testament, or the New Testament, is written in fucking Greek to start off. The Jewish-Roman War, basically.
The Old Testament is written in Greek? Are you talking about the Septuagint?
No, the New Testament. The New Testament.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
The Codex and that. Dude, they didn't speak Greek.
How do you know that? They were a Hellenized community.
They were Aramaic.
Yeah, they were Aramaic and Hebrew. That was also Hellenized.
So they spoke Greek.
I'm not making
And
a
knew how to
claim one way
write
or
in
the other.
Greek.
You're saying they didn't speak Greek. I'm saying, how do you know that when they lived in a Hellenized community?
Because they were Aramaic. Jesus was a fucking Jew.
Okay, so for example, I'll give you an example. People in Quebec, Canada, generally speak French because it's a French-speaking community, but they live in an English country, right? Would you say that all Quebecois do not speak English?
Okay, I guess I can't prove that they didn't speak Greek, but can you prove that they did speak Greek?
No.
It was Womb.
So
Conspiracy garbage. You have zero proof of this insane theory. Won't be like, yeah guys, let's make a fake religion and unalive our fake priests. Literally millions of co-conspirators won't rat. Take your meds, study.
Anyways, why do I need to prove that? Like, for example, they don't have to have written Greek. They don't, like, the early church said that Matthew wrote his gospel in Hebrew, right? So if he wrote it in Hebrew and then it was later translated in Greek, I don't see the issue. Can John do a Canadian? Oh yeah, bud. Let's go down to Tim Hortons and we'll do it. We'll get a dart and go down and rip down to Tim Hortons there, bud, and we'll get ourselves a double and cream filled.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm delivering this terribly, but fucking Josephus ends up writing down the Jewish-Roman War history according to how Vespasian and Titus told him. They murdered the fuck out of the Jews. They were trying to make them worship, because the Romans worship their emperors as divinity. So they were trying to make the Jews worship them, and they just wouldn't fucking fold. They were strong, and so they gathered up all the literature, and that's what they figured out, supposedly, according to this theory, is that they figured the literature was their backbone to their strength. So they gathered up all the literature, they took it up into their fucking palace and shit. And supposedly, like, you know how there's supposed to be a second coming of Jesus?
Yeah.
You know how the things that are supposed to happen before that, like the temple's supposed to be destroyed and all this shit?
Dog, I'm moving on. You haven't made an argument.
Well, I'm getting there. But do you know what I'm talking about, right? How there's supposed to be a few things that happen.
Nice guy. I'm glad he pet his dog for me.
Good dog.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 23 years old.
Hi, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
I'm Muslim. First off, I have no issue with you being Christian. You know, I respect your faith or whatever, and I don't care what you are. But
so you go against the Quran?
I personally, no. I think no. What do you mean?
Quran says that Christians are like worse than scum. Same with the Hadith.
That's not true. It depends, like, what type of like Christians and stuff like that. The people that are not sticking to the word and stuff like that. You know, I feel like those people would be, I guess, considered some bad people. And there's people that even in like wolf sheep's clothing too, that are not really necessarily people that are following Christ. Even you would even say that too. And that's the people I would describe as the Christians that are not necessarily following Christ. But the Quran does describe you guys as the people of the book. Some of you guys that at least follow the path of Jesus. But anyways, my personal argument is, like, the reason why I'm not Christian personally is because my understanding of Allah is, like, personally, like, as my God and my creator, is that, like, he's already, like, merciful, already all powerful and all merciful. And his mercy transcends having him to come, like, die on a cross for us. So my personal understanding of God is that he's already merciful, and his mercy transcends that concept of him dying. So I believe that me believing in a man dying on a cross would be me going completely backwards, completely missing the whole idea of understanding God's mercy and understanding him through oneness, no intercessions, no needing for anything else, for no requirement for him to, be merciful and to forgive me for the things I do. So I don't think necessarily me, going backwards. It would feel like me going backwards personally.
Okay, congratulations.
So can you explain to me why God would have to die for us, and why would you need a man to come die for you on a cross? And also, can you explain to me like the people that the people that carried him on the cross, right?
No. The answer is no.
If he died for the entire for the entirety of mankind.
Are you listening to me? The answer is no.
What? Why are you, bro? Why are you hostile though? Like,
I'm not hostile. All right, I just said no. I said no. I said no very calmly.
You zoomed in on your face. You're not even trying to have a conversation. It's like you're arrogant.
You yapped for a hot minute. John answered your question very calmly, and then you lost.
Very calmly. It just seems like he was impatient, zooming in on his face. No. Can we have a conversation?
The topic is, I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be? And then you spent 5 minutes. Hold on. It's my turn to speak. And then you gave me 5 minutes about what you believe. No argument on why I should believe it. And then you asked me a question about my faith. The answer is no. I'm not here to answer the questions about my faith. The topic today is for you to convince me why I ought not be a Christian.
I already told you why you shouldn't be. I said that God is already merciful.
Well, that how do you know that your understanding of God is true?
Because just the same way you experience the Holy Spirit, I experience it through the 5 daily prayers. Right? So personally, I think that there is one
here's
God.
your argument is you've felt it in your fifis. Also, I got a warning for consuming substances. It's coffee, TikTok. It's a cup of coffee. And it's a pen. It's an actual pen. TikTok is crazy, bro. Are you still there? You muted yourself.
Yo, my internet's really bad, I think. My internet's bad.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Just personally, I just don't see the reason for God having to come and sacrifice himself on a cross.
Right. That's just your feelings, man.
Mercy.
That's just your feelings.
But isn't it your feelings too? Like,
no.
Don't you put your feelings to the test too, though, with this?
No.
You're doing the same thing. You believe in the Holy Spirit. Isn't that feelings?
Nope. I've never once made the claim ever in my career as a Christian apologist that the Holy Spirit told me so, therefore it is.
Okay, then how can we prove then Jesus died on the cross? Then?
You're shifting the burden.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Is the topic that I'm to convince you that Jesus died on the cross? We're not going to go
anywhere with this. I'm just going to drop. Have a good day, dude. You're not going to go anywhere with this. Just look back.
Have a great day.
Dude.
Typical teenage rant.
Yeah, everybody gets upset when you won't debate the topic that they want to debate. Why can't I get upset when they won't debate the topic I want to debate? The topic is, I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be? I might restart TikTok if it keeps putting up that warning, though, and I'll just have to step off camera to have a sip of my coffee, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Hello, how are you?
Weird with those
It's crazy. Just real quick, how old?
Yeah, I'm 24.
All right. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Yeah, I would say that you shouldn't be a Christian just simply by the fact that, like, if you are against things like sexual abuse.
Slow down.
What?
Slow down. You're talking way too fast.
Okay. I would just say that you shouldn't be a Christian if it is the case that you were against things like sexual abuse, genocide, sex slavery, invasion of lands, taking their women as property, things like that. I think if you are against all of these things, then you would be entirely against the Bible.
Okay, what if I'm not?
And it's God. Then you just be like someone who's to be like taken out back and put one in the skull because you're not safe to be around.
Yeah, who's going to do it?
Whoever wants to enforce that kind of morality. But if it is the case that you're just arguing that you should be able to believe that women should be put into sex slavery, then there's no reason anyone should be having a conversation with you because you just don't have any morals.
According to what standard?
According to the standard that it's wrong to put people in sex slavery, like would
why
is your wife behind you?
Yeah, why is that wrong?
Why is it wrong for you to take a woman, kill her parents, and force her to be your wife?
Yeah.
because you impede on her like bodily actualization.
That's just
right?
a tautology. You're just repeating the same thing in different words.
Wait.
Why is it wrong?
Wait, why would you want that to happen to you?
Yeah, I know, probably not.
Why would you not want it to happen to you?
Yeah, just a preference.
Why is it your preference though?
The same reason like most preferences are, right? You have things you prefer
No, but
and
like,
things you don't prefer.
why would you not want to be taken into like sex slavery, or say someone came and invaded your country and then saw you, picked you out of a crowd, and then decided that you were going to be like their husband and they were going to be able to have sex with you and do whatever they want to you.
So you're not going to answer the question. You're just going to ask me a bunch of questions.
I'm explaining to you like why
you're not
would
explaining,
you?
You're asking questions.
No, you said that it's just your preference. Now I'm asking you, why is that your preference?
Same reason that pineapple on pizza is my preference. It just brings me more pleasure to be or not be in certain situations.
So it brings you more pleasure to not be enslaved?
Yeah.
So do you think being enslaved is wrong?
No. Well, let's say no. Then what?
You don't think being enslaved is wrong? Do you think enslaving people is wrong?
Let's say no. Then what?
So then there's no point anyone having a conversation with you because you're not a person.
Why?
Because you don't have morality.
Where is your morality coming from, and how do you know it's? Hold on, slow down. Where does your morality?
I am going slow.
Where does your? No, you're not. No one thinks you're going slow.
Maybe it's fast for you, but this is how I talk.
Okay, well, chill. Anyways, where does your morality come from, and how do you know it's true?
So morality doesn't come from a particular place. I guess it would be basically the same as you, right? It's based off of multiple things. Like it would be based off of your preferences, whether or not you would prefer to experience something, whether or not you would prefer for other people to experience something, whether or not most people in your world would prefer for something to not happen or for it to happen. A lot of these things is what determines morality, right? A lot of it is based upon like survivability as well.
So
like,
it's a lot of yap just to say preference.
It's not. No. I'm literally about to go deeper into it. Like a lot of it is like evolutionary, like a evolutionary state as well. Like for example, a lot of the morality that we have, like anti-killing,
Gotta say I'm alive.
Whatever.
Not whatever.
Anti-whatever.
It's not whatever. Are you going to use the proper terms of service language?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm also a streamer. You can say that word.
No, you won't. Anyway, well, you're not going to say it on my live. Are you going to respect it or no?
That's why I'm not going to say it. It's fine.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, so like I was saying before, so either like we're typically anti-unaliving, we're typically anti like abusive leaders, things like that. Like humans typically don't react well to that because
yeah. What are you yapping about? The people.
Right.
Hold on. Slow down. Relax. Take a breath.
I'm telling you how morality works.
Stop. Pause. You said people are generally anti-unaliving. The historical perspective is against that hypothesis.
What do you mean? Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that?
The vast majority of history, people were pretty okay with unaliving.
Oh no, I'm not saying that people are not okay with unaliving in every context, but generally people are not going to be okay with like people going out and unaliving people in mass. Like people typically aren't okay with that.
People did that all the time. Have you ever heard of like Genghis
Yeah, that doesn't mean that people were okay with it.
And yeah, well, the people doing it were okay with it.
And what happened to him?
The people doing it were okay with it.
No, but then what happened to them?
What does that have to do with anything?
But that is exactly what it has to do with it, right? If it were the case that people were
One sec, please, pause.
You should be put down. It's okay for me to do that because you disagree with me. This is why Charlie was schmurdered.
I was actually going to bring that up as a point too. So if your whole point is that like people did bad things, died in bad ways, therefore it's wrong. I can point at people who did good things, died in bad. Hold on.
Not everyone taken to the Nuremberg trial.
You got to let us both speak, man.
But I want to have a conversation.
Do you want to both have a chat, or do you just want to?
Talking.
Well, yeah, but when you bring up 7 million points, I got to jump in at some point, right?
I was making 1 point.
No, you weren't. You're bringing up 7 million.
What were the 3 points that I made?
So, if you're going to point at the fact that people like Schmittler died in a bad way, right? Therefore, he was a bad guy. You can point at people like Gandhi. Gandhi died in a bad way. Therefore, he's a bad guy.
No, that's not what I was saying. That's a terrible straw man. I'm going to restate what I was saying.
Okay, restate.
So like I was saying before, right? So just because I said that like a lot of the time people go out and unalive others, that doesn't mean that people are typically okay with it, right? Because these people typically
people doing it were okay with it.
That's not the point, though. So like I was saying before, there is typically some kind of like social, like ostracizing or like some kind of punishment that typically befalls people who engage in that form of like unaliving.
There are
That people
people
find
who
to
are
be unjustified, right?
ostracized. There are people ostracized, beaten, and brutally unalived for doing good things. Have you heard of like Jesus?
I don't. Do you think I'm making like some kind of like dichotomy argument, or
It seems to be that
like
way.
what are you saying?
You're pointing at people
Well,
this
I'm
is
gonna go
this is
ahead and
what you
tell you
said.
right
This is
now.
what you said. I'm going to steelman it. This is what you said. You said there are people who have
promise
done.
you
Hold
won't.
it. Oh, I promise you I will. And we see if the chat thinks so.
You haven't been able to so far.
Yeah, because you're not letting me speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, awesome. So what you said is that there are people out there who do generally like unaliving situations, but generally from the mass populace, it's not seen as a good thing. And there's forms of like ostracizing, shame, and punishments that happen because of that. So from the general collective, it's seen as a negative. Did I steelman you?
From the general collective, it seems a negative. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, wow, I did steelman you. Great. Okay, then.
Well,
so
you were false all the time before.
So hold on.
All the
So
three sentences
So
he's gotten out.
so then Jesus was a bad guy.
I don't know why she's talking. You think that she should be a slave?
So then Jesus was a bad guy.
You're an idiot.
I didn't say it. Well, I'm the one. I'm not the one married to the guy that thinks it's okay for you to be a sex slave.
If you can't follow a hypothetical,
that's okay. I'm not
you're an
listening to you.
idiot.
It's okay. You shouldn't even be talking. The Bible says you shouldn't be talking.
Then you can leave.
So was Jesus a bad guy?
I don't know. Jesus. I don't know if Jesus was real.
Yeah, you're gonna go against the historical consensus.
Do you mean based upon? There's no concrete like idea that Jesus was real. He might have been real.
The historical consensus
based upon the Bible.
You are an idiot. She's been voting.
There is no historical consensus that Jesus was real.
It is the historical consensus that he was real. Yes.
From who? Name one historian.
John Dominic Crusades, who's not even a Christian.
Wait, then what did he say?
He said, for one thing that he said, I can almost quote it verbatim. He said,
Yeah,
if there's one thing that we know assured in history is that Jesus Christ was crucified. For if it was not even for the writing of his followers, we would still have two writings stating that he was crucified on the cross from Josephus and Tacitus. Now it's a bit of a gist, but you get the idea.
So there's evidence that there was a person named Jesus that was crucified because he was the Son of God.
That is a horrible straw man. Wow, that's insane. You just complained so much about straw manning, and then you did the exact same thing.
But that's what I'm saying.
Wow, Linda,
why was Jesus
good job.
crucified in the Bible?
Wow,
wait, why was Jesus
Linda.
crucified in the Bible? Like there could be, like I don't deny that he could have existed, right? But I don't know if there's actually any evidence that he did. That the person that is described.
Was the point of my argument?
I need to be able to finish my sentence.
The problem is you're addressing something I'm not even bringing up. Is the point of my argument?
You don't know if I'm addressing it if I don't get to finish my sentence.
What's the point of my argument? I'm just asking you a simple question.
Can I finish my sentence, please? But can I finish my sentence, please?
I'm just asking a simple question.
Can I finish my sentence, please?
I promise to let you finish as soon as I finish this.
Thank you.
Hear me?
Can I finish my sentence, please? Can I finish my sentence, please?
Simple question.
Can I finish my sentence, please?
Keep crashing out.
Can I finish my sentence, please? Why are you afraid to let me finish my sentence?
So I promise to let you finish. I'm going to let you finish. I just have a clarifying question.
Why are you afraid to let me finish my What is the point of you talking if you don't even know what I'm going to say?
Clarifying question. Do you know what a clarifying question is? The purpose of that in debate?
What is the point of a clarifying question if you don't even know what I was saying?
A clarifying question is intended to interject in the middle of a sentence to see if we're on the same path. That is the point of it in a debate.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So anyways, was the point of me bringing up John Dominic Crusades to state what Jesus was as a person or that he actually existed?
Well, the point of me answering your initial question was me asking, are you asking?
Damn, she's scared.
I'm not scared at all. I'm giving you a clarifying answer now, right? Because the point of me answering the question,
but you're not answering the question I'm asked.
You wouldn't know if you keep asking me. Right. So like I was saying before,
I won't cut you off, but I just want to ask the chat real quick. Chat, put your money down on whether or not she's going to actually answer my question. Everybody put it down. Let's see what happens. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Right, baby. Thank you, baby. So like I was saying before, so the question that you asked me previously, I was answering it based off of if you're talking about the person in the Bible being crucified, or if there's like actual evidence that there was a person named Jesus and he was just like a guy that was executed, right? The reason why he was why was he executed in the Bible? Like, why is it stated that Jesus was executed within the Bible?
So you didn't answer my question. God bless. Have yourself a great day.
Because your question had nothing to do with the initial conversation that we were having.
She just admitted she didn't answer the question. Is wild. That's
because
wild.
the question had nothing to do with
have a great day,
She didn't
Shanika.
like your question, John.
She didn't like it.
She didn't need to answer it. Amen, Cornhill Crusader. This is why we get a bad rap.
Oh, that's the one we already got that. Can you explain the flaw in the logic of the previous one? Obviously, I don't believe imagining something means it exists. It's based on caller's logic. What? Oh, no, that was from like way back. I just got here, and the first thing I hear is John calling someone a butthole. It's going to be... yeah, it's definitely a good stream. It's the WOM conspiracy. WOM, hey guys, we know like eat Jews, so let's make one God and destroy our pantheon. This will work. That's generally the case, yeah. Oh, we already got that one too. Caller believes in arbitrary morality and doesn't like its natural conclusion. True. True. Here's my $5 as promised. I don't remember you promising that, but thank you. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah. Well, generally we think that, as a society, unaliving people is wrong. Also her, well, you should be taken out back and have one point in the back of your skull.
She's an actual idiot. All right. I guess she's got a fan base though. Good for her. Well done. Well done, Shanika.
Bunch of other idiots.
All right, let's see if we get another guest up. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm 39 years old.
All right, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Yeah, sure. So I don't think you should be a Christian because one of the doctrine of Christianity is to believe that Jesus died for your sins. However, historical records show us that this concept of a righteous person dying for the sins of the community or for the nation or others is not unique to Jesus. It was a known concept in Second Temple Judaism.
A known concept?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Make the argument and show me the data.
Sure. So Maccabees 7:2. Maccabees 7:2. 2 Maccabees 7, 37 to 38 says, I, like my brothers, give up body and life for the laws of our ancestors, appealing to God to show mercy soon to our nation, and through me and my brothers to bring to an end the wrath of the Almighty that has just fallen on our whole nation. So some believe Maccabees to be part of Scripture, some don't. But what everybody agrees on, it is a historical record.
Yeah. How does that contradict Jesus being the sacrifice for all time?
So Jesus being a sacrifice for anybody, I mean, it's not a unique concept, right? To say that Jesus, being God, came to earth to die for our sins. Then
but even let's just like bring it to its logical conclusion. Let's even grant that it's not a unique concept. How would that change whether or not he actually was the final sacrifice for all people in all time? Let's say there's a plethora of religions outside of Christianity, even in the past, like 1 million of them that have this very similar concept. How would that change if whether or not that event actually took place and actually happened?
So, okay, you need to evidence then that Jesus' sacrifice was for all people and for all time, because he said, "I've only came for the lost sheep of Israel."
No, that's a bit of a burden shift, right? You brought up, hey, that this is a concept that's in the past, therefore it debunks Jesus being the final sacrifice, right? And I'm asking you how it debunks that, and now you're asking me to prove something.
Yeah, so my initial point was that the concept of a righteous person dying for the sins of whoever was already an established concept within Second Temple Judaism.
Right, I'm granting the sake of the argument. I can even say that if there's 10 billion religions that also had this concept, how would that change whether or not Jesus Christ actually died on the cross and actually paid for everybody's sins?
So you're making a positive claim, so it will be.
I'm not making a positive claim. I'm asking a question. I'm asking you a question on how you get to the conclusion in your argument.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so that I would somewhat make sense. It will somewhat give your argument strength, but in order to,
I haven't made an argument.
You have made an argument. The argument
What's my argument?
made is so to Stillman, you're saying, okay, some guy in the past came and died for the sins of some people. However, Jesus came and he died for everybody and everybody and anybody.
No. What I'm doing is I'm granting your argument. You're stating that there are people in the past that have already had this concept. I'm going to grant it. I'm going to say, okay, but how does that lead to any sort of conclusion that debunks the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ?
Yeah, so this is so basically when Jesus was supposedly unalived, right, to people thought that he was unalive. They needed to explain his unaliveness, right? And to explain that unaliveness, why he was unalive, they already had a concept they could apply.
Yeah, so that's a theory.
Right?
Sure, that's a theory on like what explains the death and resurrection. That's a possible theory, and I can even say it's possible. But I'm asking how we get to the conclusion, not what the conclusion is.
So how do we get to the conclusion of what?
That Jesus Christ didn't die and resurrect.
So him being unalived and resurrecting, again, supposedly that I was to grant you that he died for the sins of Israel, because he said, I've only came for the lost sheep of Israel. How does that somehow make him God? Because that was already done by somebody else before.
All right, man. We've gone full circle. We've gone full circle 4 times. I need you to bring the argument that leads to the conclusion. I got to jump on.
That's my argument. So what Jesus supposedly did in your paradigm is not unique to Jesus.
Again, I can grant that. How does that lead to the conclusion?
The conclusion of what?
All right. Appreciate you, bro. God bless. I told you guys, I smelt it in the air. I'm like, we're going to have a day. We're going to have a day. Gabriel Johnson. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm doing well. I'm 47.
All right, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Because there's nothing in the gospel that doesn't have close parallels in many other religions. There's nothing that Jesus said that indicates that he has some divine knowledge. I mean, love the Lord your God. That's just basically straight out of the Old Testament, and then it doesn't really.
He's quoting the Old Testament, because the question is, what are the 2 of the greatest laws from the Old Testament? So you'd expect to see him quote the Old Testament after being asked that question.
Yeah, and then like the golden rule exists in Buddhism and other faiths. I mean, it's just basically.
What does that have to do with anything? And the golden rule doesn't, like, there's an antithesis of like the golden rule. So like the opposite of it that exists pre-Jesus. And it almost seems like Jesus is playing on that to a certain extent.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there's nothing new in Christianity that
okay. Let me grant that, and let's say that there isn't. And
so why would you trust your soul to a faith that is just basically, a best of good advice from?
Well, now, hold on. How do you get to that conclusion? Because you find correlates.
That it's just basically anything that is useful in Christianity for day-to-day life is just something that could be found in many other cultures. It doesn't meet the definition of
again something. What does that have to do with whether or not it's true?
Well, shouldn't great claims demand great evidence?
What does that have to do with the argument you brought up?
Yeah, that you shouldn't trust somebody who can't provide you with some sort of insight into the universe. That is just basically something that many other people have of that Bronze Age, turn of the. What are you talking about? I mean, like, shouldn't you get some insight into like human nature that shows he's a god?
I'll play it for everybody because they're all going to say it anyways. Hold on, where is it?
Someone opened up their mouth today. He's running, you see. Just had a little something to say. He's running, you see. Not a fist, not a threat, not a sword. He's running, you see. Just Just a word, just a word, just a word. He's running, you see. He's running, you see. He's running, you see. From the most harmless things that could ever be. He's running, you see. He's running, you see. Just syllables floating, but John disagrees. He's running, you see. Someone said, actually, I think he's running, you see. Gone.
Oh my God. I freaking hate debate culture. Chango, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey there, I am 30.
Hi, all right, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
I would argue, as a former Christian, I started reading back into the morality that you know, I guess prescribed to my whole life. I was actually not a Christian, or I was Christian in the sense of I was raised Catholic, right? So slight variation, but same
Not,
circle there.
I'm not trying to make fun by any means, but somebody brought this up and I thought, sure. Just the first sentence when you said, hey there, 100% Kermit the Frog. Not after, you don't sound like Kermit the Frog.
Oh,
Just the way you said,
threatening
hey
me
there.
with a good time. Listen, I will forever follow in the good steps of Kermit. He taught me and hopefully will teach my kids some good lessons over time. So I'm not an insult at all, sir. No sweat.
All right, man. Go ahead.
And yeah, that's kind of my thought, at least, right? Which is morality, right? The more I did some digging, the more I parsed through the Bible myself, I started questioning quite a bit of these things, and I would ask you for the same idea, right? Moral standards. Where would I have gotten them as a Catholic versus where I get them now as a non-Catholic, right? Yeah, essentially, I kind of just, I guess, reevaluated where the original Christian perspective was. And I found myself disagreeing with it a lot, right? Because there are a lot of rules, both in the Old and New Testament, that I don't attest to, don't agree with. And with it comes the tied in portion of, because the Bible said so, or because the Bible says so, because God said so, right? So I guess thoughts, disagreement maybe, or I mean, obviously, but
yeah, you seem like you're coming with good faith, and you kind of concede the idea that it's very difficult to ground the understanding of morality. So generally, like for example, the scholar Matthew Lynch points at he's probably one of the best scholars I've read when it comes to like the moral quandaries we run into when we're looking at scripture. But when he's talking about like the actual standard, like the foundation on where we're supposed to draw from, it's not like the Mosaic Law. The Mosaic Law wasn't given to be a moral standard for all people for all time. That wasn't the purpose of it. What we're actually supposed to look at as Genesis like 1 and 2, right? When he creates the garden. And this is generally supposed to be the standard. We're supposed to be beings that live on this planet that don't understand evil to the extent that we do, that rule over the earth, that take care of the animals, and just exist in the presence of God. That was always supposed to be the purpose and design, but we fell from that. So when you're reading things like the Mosaic Law, we know the Mosaic Law isn't supposed to be a moral guide from all people in all time, because we get to Jesus, who condemns an aspect of the Mosaic Law. Now we're taking the Christian paradigm, right? It's an eternal argument. So we have to grant that this Jesus figure has some sort of say when it comes to the Mosaic Law if we're going to take the Christian paradigm. He says that Moses allowed for the law of divorce, but I tell you, God never intended it to be that way. So the Mosaic Law is meant where God is working with the people to ultimately move them towards sanctification, but he's integrating into a culture that they already exist in. So there's going to be things that we run into that we don't like simply because we have the benefit of moving towards that sanctification as is. So as Christians throughout history, if you read, for example, the scholar Tom Holland, who's not a Christian, the vast majority of ethics and morals, like for example, that one girl came up, wanted to bring up and use against us. Those ethic and morals came from Judeo-Christian values that built and integrated into society. The only reason we can look back at the Mosaic Law and have any contention with it in the first place is because God worked with us into instilling our virtues into the system we already live in.
Sure. Honestly, quite a bit to jump into there. I took a couple notes, so I apologize if I'm reading back and forth because I don't want to focus on one, I guess, excessively. But you mentioned essentially that like Jesus modified the law, right?
Just real quick, sorry, I don't mean to cut
you
you off, but for the chat, everybody says Tom Holland. Yes, Tom Holland, not Spider-Man. His name is actually Tom Holland. Go ahead.
Possibly less cool Tom Holland. Got it.
Yeah.
So while I don't disagree that there was or is obviously in let's call it the New Testament, right? The adjustments done by Jesus and by Paul, right? Because again, I come from a more Catholic background, so we tend to hear, or used to hear, or I used to hear more to like the teachings of Paul versus Jesus kind of thing. But anyways, I don't disagree that there's modifications, but when I look at like, let's say just the Mosaic law into what Jesus had made changes to it, there are specific things that he says are altered, but then he also makes very broad statements on the laws are not to be changed. Right. I ran very rough in my quotes here, but like Matthew 5:18, 5:20.
Let's talk about that, because people put a period where there's a period. It says, I did not come to abolish the law. I came to fulfill it. I tell you, not one jot, not one note, not one tittle will be taken away. None of this will happen. The heavens and the earth will not pass away until all is finished. There's an important aspect that people forget there. So he says all is finished. Until all is finished. And then on the cross, he says, it is finished, right? He did completed the job that he came to do. But even in that case, we can read Acts where it says very specifically that the Jews were still following the law, and that's fine. And they were confused on how the Gentiles should actually integrate with it and how to operate with it. And the Gentiles come in, he says, these are the only two laws that you should follow is, abstain from sexual immorality and don't consume blood. If you do that, you're pretty much okay. And then Paul also in Galatians makes it very clear that the law was given to us to make us aware of sin. It was never meant to be a standard that we were all supposed to uphold.
Fair enough. I mean, I would only argue that, and if I recall, one at least, I want to say it was the NIV, right? It doesn't just mention, until all things have passed. It was specifically something along the lines of until heaven and earth have passed away, right? Or passed. Which to me, again, growing up Catholic, I would interpret that as the second coming, right? The grand.
I gotta pause you again because that's not what it says. It's very close. No, you don't apologize. I'm cutting you off. But it's very close, not quite. It's not saying until the heavens. It says not even the heavens, earth. What he's doing, he's making a statement of like the law cannot pass away. Like it just can't vanish, right? Until these things have been finished.
Question you, which version of the Bible are we referring to? Because I want to be a little consistent. I have, what is that website? Bible Gateway open. I want to see which one you guys normally go for, right? Because I know like the King James has a lot of inconsistency. It is Matthew 5:18 or 19. Give me a second. I have it spread out here from like a couple of them.
18, generally, I pick anything except the NIV.
Anything except NIV. Fair enough. And let's
5.
So
what was it?
Loophole, new NIV. Is that word? No, I'm kidding.
I'm reading the NASB right now. It's two scholarly versions you're going to get are going to be the NASB, the NRSV. Those are going to be like their scholarly consensus. NIV is littered with thought for thought ideas and has created a huge bunch of problems in scholarship as well as in apologetics.
New Revised Standard Version. Got it.
5 what again? 18?
5:18, I believe. Right, and it says something until heaven and earth pass away. Right, is how it starts.
Okay.
And not how it ends. I don't disagree that obviously there is the implication of after his crucifixion, that is the end of that sacrifice, for lack of a better word, right? But or actually for the literal word in this case. But I would argue that the start of this says, hey, until X happens, Y still applies. X meaning the end, as in the earth and heaven pass away, then laws don't apply.
So do not presume that I came to abolish the law of the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or stroke of the letter shall pass from the law until all is accomplished.
Right. And I would, reading just 18 there, right? To me, all encompasses heaven and earth passing away, right? Not necessarily just his death. His death would be part of that all, right? His death and sacrifice would have been part of that process. But the conclusion of that process, to me, encompasses heaven and earth passing away by his own words in this case, right? Like,
no, I think he's using parabolic language to explain the severity of how powerful the law is. Like he's saying, if he doesn't finish his task, the law wouldn't vanish until all these things pass away until everything had just gone and ceased to exist, right? So what we're looking at, it's called like a material implication. It's an if-then conditional, right? The law, right, will pass if what? And it seems to be stating when things are accomplished, which he says is done on the cross.
Sure. I don't disagree with that portion of it. I just don't think it ends there, right? As in, it just keeps going. But I got you on that one at least. The other one that just caught my attention when you said it earlier was Genesis, right? So skipping Mosaic law for a second, because that has a cornucopia of other issues and whether or not Jesus agreed or disagreed. So the start of Genesis, where I started to really question things and started reading the book all the way at the beginning here, was, of course, and I apologize for the team's message in the background. They had the main issue I had with Genesis was the apparent contradiction in God causing a fallen world because of the actions of creatures, in this case humans, right, Adam and Eve, who could not understand the concept of what was good and bad.
How do you know they couldn't understand it?
There is a specific verse, and I'm sorry, we need to change the version, right? And RSV, I'd have to go find it for you. Paraphrasing. There are obviously, I believe, 2 trees or 2 fruits, right, referenced. One was for the eternal life, and the other one was the knowledge of good and evil, right?
Yep.
The way I would interpret this, and I think is pretty consistent, is that without acquiring those things, meaning the fruit of life or of everlasting life, means you are mortal until you partake from that fruit, just like the knowledge of good and evil. You do not have a concept of good and evil until you partake of that fruit, right? So essentially, and I'll be honest, I was a little baby once. I had no idea what was right and wrong until I was taught what was right and wrong, right? Like, hey, don't grab that, don't steal that, whatever the thing might be. I think the same concept can apply to Adam and Eve in this one, where God says, hey, do not touch. To them, there is no idea of touching or not touching is good or bad. There just is.
The problem with that is that when Eve is arguing with the snake about whether or not they should, she clearly states that God said that we should not eat of the tree, and the snake says, I forget what the snake says that you shouldn't eat of the tree, but it's perfectly fine. And she says, not only am I not supposed to eat from the tree, I'm not even supposed to touch it. Right. So she clearly states she has a concept of what she ought not do. So there seems to be a distinction. There's a distinction between like an ought not versus what is good and what is evil. Those things aren't always the same.
Sure. But I would argue there's a difference between disobeying, right, versus doing something bad. And I think there's a huge distinction there. And I think you're alluding to the same thing, where she ought not touch it, but is not because of something good or bad. It is simply because she was told not to, right? There is no inherent morality.
She understood the consequence, right? The consequence is of the day that you touch it, you shall surely die.
Right, which they didn't die, right? And I mean, I understand the standard reply there is like, oh, they eventually died, but I guess.
Well, no, I think they did. I think they did die, right? But just not in the sense of we understand death, because Jesus comes and he says, "I found you dead in your sins."
So I guess we would argue a spiritual death at that point, but
separation from God, right? So this Christian perspective is that death is a separation from God, right? It's not like a physical death, right? Death isn't a rigid designator that only has one meaning. So there is the separation from God, is which we see of that day you shall surely die. Then what happens? They're kicked out of the garden. They're cast out. They have curses put upon them, and they're separated from what we are supposed to be, which is in the garden and with God. So I'd actually argue that all the data kind of points towards my hypothesis.
I mean, at least from a Catholic perspective, again, growing up Catholic, right? The separation of God is not death. The separation of God is hell, or the absence of God is hell, right? Dying is not separating from God. Like death, again, I'm playing from an internal critique of my Catholic perspective. I may not know the intricacies or the smaller details of Christianity as a whole, right? Maybe I'm not sure if you're evangelical.
I don't think that's true from the Catholic perspective, because I think because I take the Orthodox perspective on this, not that I'm Orthodox, but I think their perspective is correct. And I think their perspective is pretty close to being in a line. I don't see any contention with that. Now, I haven't done my due diligence, but from an eschatological point of view, the Orthodox perspective is the separation of God.
Is during death or only in hell?
That is death, is being separated. Yeah. From the Orthodox perspective, like hell is not a different location. It's actually being in the presence of God, but resisting his good energies.
I'll be honest, that might be a first one for me. Every teaching I had, I mean, I'm not Orthodox Catholic, I guess, would be technically it was part of the Roman. Yeah, that's right, technically. Yeah, I mean, the way I've always been taught this, at least previously, was when your body dies, as in death, right? Your spirit, essentially, or your soul, for lack of a better word, right, has a judgment cast upon it, right? And either you end up in heaven, which is alongside God, and then or you end up in hell, which would be the absence of God. And that's the only time that you experience the absence of God. It's not during the death of.
No, that's not even the Catholic viewpoint, though, because the Catholic viewpoint is that heaven is just a temporary holding location until you get to the new Jerusalem, the new Eden that's created, and hell itself is actually cast into the lake of fire and destroyed. Hell is just a holding place. This is why in 1 Peter 3:15, I think it is, you see Jesus actually go to hell and give people the gospel. Shows that there's like even post-mortem opportunities.
I'm not doubting you, but I gave it a quick Google because I'll be honest with you, I haven't double checked it, and the idea of hell being temporary holding place is not listed here as a standard in the Catholic Church. But again,
but it's literally what it says in the book of Revelation. Hell itself will be thrown into the lake of fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that part. I'm just saying that was the perspective I had growing up. But anyways, my whole point was just, when I look back at Genesis, right, I see, don't disagree that your perspective, essentially, we have a father telling a child, like, hey, don't touch that. And the fact that they went and touched it is a bad thing. I would just argue that
I'm not talking about like a bad thing. I'm talking about ought and ought not. She clearly, your original argument was that she doesn't have the concept. Well, she states it herself. So she clearly has the concept of what she ought not do.
I would only argue that the ought is not based off good or bad. It's based off of instruction or non-instruction with no backing of doing this is wrong. It's just, I'm doing what I'm told. And there's a difference there, in my opinion, right? It's the idea of knowing something is wrong versus doing what you're told. As in, I ought to not do that because I was told not to, not because I inherently know that disobeying God is a bad thing, right? It's a slight.
You seem to be conflating that good and evil is like the understanding of good and evil is just simply understanding like that's not something I should or should not do. I think that's like a big
good
thing.
And evil in this context would be disobeying God's
rules,
so
right? It says if you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right, you get knowledge of good and evil. And then, but what happens immediately after they eat from the tree? Like, we got to read it within its context. We just hear the words and then we implement 21st century understanding of those words onto an ancient text. In the context, immediately what happens is they're aware of their shame, they're aware of their nakedness, they hide, they're aware of pain. So it seems to be that the evil here is, and again, this is the Christian perspective, is evil is simply just the privation of good. So they've just been separated from what is good, and what is good? It's God. So that's where the knowledge comes from. The knowledge comes from the experience. We're not meant to be separate from God, but when they ate from the tree, they were separated from God.
Yeah, again, I don't disagree. I would just, I'm having a hard time, I guess, totally agreeing with the idea of before they ate the fruit, they knew that it was, I would agree that it's something they should not ought to have done, obviously, because that's, essentially a parent telling a child that. But the child does not understand those concepts yet. And I would attribute this temporarily, at least, those attributes to something that has never had a basis for good and evil, right? So
yeah, but my question, then I kind of raise a question. Like, what would you expect to see in a world where God makes it, where he doesn't want us to experience evil, right? What would you expect to see? Would you expect him to see him impose some evil upon them so they have a better understanding of what evil is?
In a world that God does not want evil. I'm sorry, repeat that one more time. I'm trying to.
So when God creates the garden, he creates a world with the desire that we do not actualize the potentiality of evil. We actualize it, and then therefore we endure it. You're stating that because they've never experienced evil, they're not fully aware of the consequence. So it seems to be that the only logical conclusion there is that God imposed some sort of evil upon them, so therefore they're aware of the consequence.
I would argue that I don't think necessarily he imposed evil on them.
No, I'm not saying he did. I'm saying it seems like you're saying he should do that.
Should he have done that? Should he do that?
Hmm.
If I'm honest with you, I'm not sure how I would answer that.
Right.
Just because like there's two layers of hypothetical that I would have to kind of, I guess, break into. But you know, I don't have a direct answer for you on that one, respectfully. Like I
That's
don't
fine.
think you know, and I guess the last one, which I understand was the last note I took here, was of course the Mosaic Law, right? I understand, you know, that Jesus may or may not have, or according to Christianity at least, you know, he did override the Mosaic Law. But you know, again, according to my understanding of all this, right, the God of the Old Testament is God of the New Testament, right?
Well,
Period.
my point of the Mosaic Law, every reason I brought it up was to say that the Mosaic Law was never, not once, given to be a moral standard. It's not supposed to be our understanding of what is and is not good.
Right, but it is how we should be acting, not whether it be good or bad. That's what a law is.
We don't follow the Mosaic, especially us as Gentiles. We're actually commanded not to.
Oh no, of course. I'm not saying that you don't. What I'm saying is it's the same lawgiver in this case, not moral giver. Well, to your credit, I'll split between moral and legal.
Okay.
Even though I do think that Catholics and Christians, the whole idea of, you know, there being ceremonial law, moral law, and legal law is a differentiation that occurred post hoc, right? It's a post hoc rationalization.
Yep,
But
I agree with that.
Separating the three, right? Let's stick purely to the law part of it, right? I would argue
I don't separate the three. I agree with you that it's a post hoc rationalization that came primarily from the Catholic Church much later.
Yeah, so I would argue at least that in that scenario, right, the lawgiver definitely gave what I would call questionable laws, right? And again, I understand
more than questionable. He gave laws that, to our standard, would be completely unethical.
Sure, but and I agree with you that to our standard they would be. However, if I'm to understand, you know, the standard here, right, he would be the standard giver, right? As in God would be the standard of morality or legal. I'm sorry, you're right, not morality, of laws in this case, right? Why is it that the laws he gives in one time should not be applicable to another? If this being is beyond space, beyond time, able to induce his will or say, X is X, irrelevant of every other lesser creature, right? Why is it that those rules apply, what is it, circa 2,400 years ago, give or take, versus now when we look at it retrospectively, we're like, whoa, we shouldn't have done X or Y or Z.
I feel like I gave you this answer at the start of the conversation, right? I said that law was given to a specific culture and a specific time to integrate into a society that they already are a part of, right? For example, slavery was just a normal aspect of the ancient Near East. So common, in fact, that we don't even see a writing against slavery pop up until like thousands of years later. And what we see happen is that God integrates with them, works with them towards sanctification, meeting them on their level. And it's only through his means of sanctifying us that we can even look back at the Mosaic law and say it's unethical in the first place.
Sure, but I would argue that if a creature is all good, all powerful, why would it attempt to adhere to the current standard of a world that he has dominion over? Meaning,
because that's the part of allowing us to rule. Because as the image bearers of God, we don't only just have to be following God, that's an aspect of it, but we are also part of the divine counsel of God, or expected to be part of the divine counsel of God, where we have to rule and actually make decisions ourselves and operate in our own way. This is why we see in, for example, the book of Job, he hosts a council and has people come in and make decisions with each other. Same thing in First Kings, where he hosts a council and they come make decisions. It's not that council is needed. It's that there's an aspect of God is ruling alongside with us. He's helping us grow to eventually be the creatures we were supposed to be.
Sure, but then I would argue that why not do the inverse, right? In other words, we are allowed, with your current logic, right? As in you would argue that, we're part of the council that helps push these things forward in some capacity.
Well, not yet.
What you're kind of sure, but at least there was references that, like you said in Job, right, where there is some sort of council that kind of, I guess, plays with these ideas, right? I would argue that an all good, all powerful creature would in turn say, hey, not just, I wouldn't give you laws for, let's say, slavery, like you had mentioned here, right? So focusing on that one. Say, hey, instead, don't have slaves, You get me? And the fact that that occurs later on, or that it is allowed, makes me feel that there's some odd morality there going on, right? Like,
yeah, but all you're stating is that if I was a good, all good, omniscient God, this is what I would do. You're not an all good, omniscient God. You don't know the outcomes and the standards and what, and to like, oh, just don't have slaves. Well, we haven't even done that today. Like, yeah, I don't know if you're American, but the 13th Amendment in the American Constitution still says that you can have slaves as long as they committed a crime.
sure, yeah, I agree. The justice system is not really a justice system. It's retributive. I can't pronounce the word. My apologies. English is not my first language, so. But I'm with you.
You speak better English than me, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, thanks. It's School of Hard Knocks in this case. But I would just argue, or I would just agree with the idea that like we were somehow involved, and I guess the change over time. I just find it odd, and I get what you're saying that we haven't done that yet, and that we are looking back to say, oh, slavery is clearly wrong. The question would just be, from an individual standpoint, is slavery ever good for a single individual, right?
Oh yeah,
Personally,
I'd say yeah.
I would argue,
I'd say yeah. There's certain scenarios where that can be the case, for sure.
I would say those are very rare scenarios, but
you asked, can it be the case? As long as there's one scenario where it could be the case, then it is a true statement.
Sure, fine. I conceded, absolutely fine. There are cases in which that could be the case. However, much of the slavery that gets described in the rules, right, would, I guess, exceed past those kinds of limits, in my opinion, right? I think you could beat them, and as long as they don't die within like 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever.
It's a material implication. It says if you beat them, then this was the consequences of doing that and how you determine the consequences. But it also says if you beat them and for the sake of their eye or the sake of their tooth, if you cause harm to that, you're to set them free, which is a different standard that you don't see in other ancient Near East laws. So
sure, I mean,
yeah.
That's where we do subjective, right? Meaning like other places might have like a slightly better standard, but slightly better doesn't necessarily always mean good. It just means better, right? And I mean that can apply pretty much anywhere, but slightly better, sure. I would argue that yes, there are certain exceptions. I mean, they even have the exceptions for if you're what is it from the Hebrew nation, right? You can only be an indentured slave in this case for what is it, 6 years, 7 years, some number.
Only from the Hebrew, but from other nations, you'd be for life.
Yeah, permanent property at that point, right? Because I think you can like.
Yeah, you don't need to convince me that it's chattel slavery.
Right, and I get you, but my only argument there would just, or one of the arguments I would make is just there are, if something is claiming to be all good, then why would it even allow for possible evil in this case? Why not strive for that?
When you ask the question, why would, it posits that there is a logical reason in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah. So as long as I can do like, if I really wanted to, I could do like skeptical theism. I could just say, I don't know. Like you're asking for what is, what's the word you're asking for a theodicy. Theodicies are only as good as they are satisfying to the individual. Right now, I could give you a theodicy that satisfies you, but might not satisfy all the people in the chat, right? They just feel like it should be. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I think that was I'm sorry. And I think that was my conclusion when I started to read all this, right? Where like my subjective preference came into clash with the subjective or the non-subjective, whatever the right word might be for the rules established on here, right? Where I don't disagree. Obviously, things can change over time and have been malleable by or established by certain cultures, right? But my subjective viewpoint clashes with the subjective viewpoint of in this case, a deity, right, of some kind, right? And the question then becomes to me, like, what would be my objective goal, right? Irrespective of me, what would I aim for? My objective goal would be, like, let's say, limited suffering in some capacity, whatever that might actually mean, or aiming for least amount of harm is the goal, because it's never going to get to zero. You and I both know that in any worldview, it's never going to be zero, right? But aim for less suffering. Cool. Does allowing slavery aim for less suffering? Is my question. And my answer has been consistently no.
Well, no, think about this, right? Say we remove slavery completely. Well, then the justice system goes out the window for anybody who commits a crime. We could not withhold or put in any scenario or put in any sort of like enlockment. No matter how well we treat them, it's still a form of slavery. So in that scenario, having slavery is actually a better thing. And then even to a certain extent, depending on like your view on military, it is a form of slavery, right? If you just choose to leave, it's considered AWOL, it's a crime. So they own you to a certain degree, a certain standard until you fulfill your contract, which would be the equivalent to indentured servitude. And is it better to have somebody who's going to fulfill their duties in a military force? Or is it better to have somebody who could just leave it at any point they want? I don't know. That one's up for debate. But I think there are certain scenarios where slavery may be the better option.
So I would argue the justice system we have, while it does encompass some slavery points, I would aim to change the way it worked, right? I know there is retributive, there it is, gosh, I couldn't say the word earlier. Retributive justice, right? Meaning, i.e., you did something bad, we arrest you, we put you in prison for 10 years, versus, hey, you did something bad, we get you the social or psychological, steps to make you more, or make you possibly a better contributor in society. Meaning, like
you could, that's fine. You could take somebody and you could put them in a castle and you could pamper them and you could give them all the therapy and you could feed them lobster every day and increase their like a positive quality through the roof. It wouldn't change the fact that they're still slaves.
Sure, I think that part of where I envision modern day slavery, meaning like the justice system, is the fact that like they aren't paid properly for the service that they are providing even within prison.
Neither are people who work at McDonald's, man. They're not paid properly either.
Different. Yeah, sure. I listen. That's a political argument, and I am on board with a living wage versus a minimum wage, and that's a whole different conversation altogether.
But
and
I'm
actually,
saying that's a form of slavery too, if you want to use that kind of like direction for arguments.
Sure, but I mean, one was just focused more on the justice system versus not, and I think the final one, and I guess I apologize for jumping around so many of them, but the main reason I started with all this is because I kind of looked back at the outside of the rule book. I looked at the people in my social circle and in my church and all that kind of stuff, and I realized that there were almost no kinds of pushes, like what you just referenced here, right? The minimum wage versus not. There are people who flat out don't agree. Yeah, grab that cereal, sir. That's important.
No, she wanted me to mute her so that nobody heard her crunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Priorities, man. Absolutely. But I looked back at like the way certain groups were approaching politics, right? And again, I don't want to jump into the politic portion, but just the way they were approaching it, like made me cringe at the idea of the conflict between what they expound in the book versus the actions they take place outside of the book, right? Meaning, you nailed the nail on the head, right? Minimum wage versus not versus living wage. There are people who in those religious circles that were super content with like, no, we should never have a living wage. The companies wouldn't survive. And I'm like, but there's people starving right now in the greatest country in the world, right? I am American, so
well, my point of bringing that up wasn't like to bring it up as a contention. It was just to kind of point at a reductio of like, hey, well, they're slaves because like in prison system they're not being paid enough. I'm like, well, if you want to say that, then so are people at McDonald's.
Sure, and both things can be true. I don't disagree with you, and that the reductio is actually accurate in this case. The question just becomes, if you're following this rule book, what changes would you want to push into your own society to fix those things? Right?
Here's where my faith comes in. Right, is like when I'm looking at my rule book, which is the laws of nature and the laws of God. I wouldn't posit that I have the wisdom to say which rules ought and ought not be outside of what God has ordained. No, so hold on. You can stop me before I finish. Outside of what God has ordained.
Agreed. Yeah. So if God ordains all, do you vote?
But that's within the realms of what God's ordained.
So voting is within. So okay. So it's both in this case. In other words, whatever he wants goes, and because he also wants you to vote, you do vote.
Well, what I mean is, like, for example, right? I think the scripture is pretty clear that it makes an argument that we ought not unalive innocent humans. I classify fetuses as innocent humans, so therefore I try to implement laws that are against that. That would be one aspect. But I wouldn't implement a law from just my own feeling and my own understanding or try to change the world based off just my vibes, right? Because I don't think I'm wise enough to do that.
Sure. I mean, the fetus one is a good point, right? But then I would argue, feed the poor, right? What was it? How many times did Jesus say, like, the way you treat the foreigner is the way you treat me, or some? I'm paraphrasing here, please. Excuse me.
But that's towards the specific individual. That's not towards making other people do it. Like Jesus doesn't go, well, you should make other people do this as well.
Right. But then when you vote, you don't vote with the idea of it's what I would do. So I'm putting forth that vote, right? Because you want to protect the fetus, for example, and I agree with you.
Well, that category is different. So the category here is we ought to defend innocent humans. The aspect of the way I can defend them is through voting systems. But the other category is we ought to help the homeless. So I try to help the homeless. That doesn't fall in the same category of we ought to force other people to help the homeless.
I would argue it does, because you ought protect the fetus and you ought feed the homeless. And in both cases, an action you can take in furtherance of those goals would be voting in those kinds of policies, right? I.e., stringer abortion rights, whatever that may be, or
I could also achieve my goal by convincing people to follow Christ.
Sure, and that's my point of like selectively voting for one versus not the other is my conundrum. Or I would look.
It's not selectively voting. It's very different. I don't think we ought force people to do the charities that Christ has commanded us to do, but I think we ought protect the innocent. And unfortunately, the only way I could protect the innocent is by stopping other people from imposing their will upon them. If there was a means I could do that without stopping them to impose their will, then that's the means I would take.
Sure. So would you classify like feeding the children, protecting the innocent? Feeding children, like, I don't know, whatever you want to define as a kid. Under 18 is technically the definition, but let's just be super mean and say under 8 years old.
Yeah, I generally don't think that there's a problem with, especially in the West, the problem with starvation.
You don't think there's an issue with that?
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, anecdotal evidence, I lived under the poverty line until I was around 12 years old, and I can tell you my only meal was the free school meal I would get.
You ate.
That occurs. And correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But here's the thing. Did your parents choose to go to the food banks?
Did my parents choose to go to the food banks?
Because I also lived under the poverty line, and I just went to the food banks.
There's a question there of either choice versus necessity, I guess, would be the difference there. But by that logic.
Okay,
yes.
So then you had food.
Correct. But those are the results of different social systems, right? In other words, would you be in favor of voting
that
for
still
this?
posits what I'm saying is I don't think there's a starvation issue.
There's no starvation issues because there's compensating controls for them, right? And I'm agreeing with you. Yes.
The vast majority of people who give out food and do food banks are from religious institutions. They're not forced to do that. Yeah.
Correct.
They do that. They do that because of Christ.
Again, I do not disagree with you on that one. However, should that only be used by that one community, or should that be a social standard we adhere to overall?
Well,
right?
I don't think.
But
what I'm saying is we've achieved our goal without having to force our will upon people. That's my point.
Gotcha. Okay. Then, then how do we elevate people without voting for it? We're way off topic on this one, but how do we push those kinds of perspectives for the other rules that like normally we adhere to, meaning like, or aim for, right? Like living wage versus not, poverty versus not, right? I'm not just talking about food in this case, like food insecurity might be one thing, but social living, healthcare healthcare is a good one, right? There are people who make decisions on whether or not to be able to buy their medication versus not because of how this works. I understand.
Yeah, but then you also have a problem where like I live in Canada and we have a socialist healthcare system, and I have health issues that I'm not getting looked at, and I've gone and I haven't paid a penny, but I can't get a doctor.
And that is wrong, of course, right?
Right.
And again,
but what I'm saying is
my anecdotal is
simply implementing laws that force people to contribute to certain things doesn't solve the problem. What I'm saying is our goal should be to solve the problem.
Oh, agreed. I would just argue that solving the problem, this is just one of the tools in the toolbox. How's that? It is a lever that can be pulled in furtherance of those issues.
If you could come to me and you could guarantee me that by implementing a law that forces people to pay 10% more of taxes, that everybody is guaranteed to get all their healthcare needs met, I would sign on up for it. I don't think you could do that.
And I would.
That's the problem.
I'm with you, and I would too, and that would be the question of like, just because so then here's the magic question for you: where's the cutoff point? If I told you, hey, here's a law that says 10% of your taxes go up, or your taxes go up 10%, your exact example, but instead of it being 100% people, it's 95% of the people in the country. Would that be good enough?
Yeah, I think 95 would be pretty solid.
90?
99, 80, right? But I think when you
80?
start when you start moving into the realm of like 50-50 is like generally where I don't think that
Sure.
is worth it
And,
because like
and the,
because hold on, let me explain why.
Mhm.
It's not because it's
Yeah.
50-50. It's because you have shown me you actually haven't implemented a system that you're confident that works. Because if you can't guarantee it for each individual person, like if you give a methodology that works, it should work on an individual basis, not on a collective.
I got you. I'm sorry, I had to mute myself because there's
Yeah.
noise in the background. But no, I'm with you on the overall idea. I would just argue the pursuit of perfect sometimes, or the goal of perfect gets in the way of better.
Well,
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
And I would
95, 90, because it allows for the room of error. Like people are going to make mistakes, sure. But yeah.
Sure, but I mean, notice how the difference is from what your first analogy all the way to this one, right? The first analogy was 10% all people, hell yeah, and I agree with you. Heck, sorry, poor choice of words, but heck yeah, right? Like let's do this. Versus 90%, well, yeah, of course I still would, right? I would
Well, it's
argue
still
if it's
it's
in
still a
it,
heck yeah, but all I'm doing is allowing for a margin of human error. But what I'm saying is if we're getting
agreed,
down into like the 50, 60, maybe even 70% range, then I have to ask what is the methodology that can't guarantee it on an individual basis. So what I'm saying is
agreed.
there's a problem in the mechanism, not in the idea. And so I'm not going to
Mm,
support a mechanism I'm not confident it's not going to work.
Gotcha. I would argue that we just as the responsibility should be pushing for those things, even like I said, even if it's better, not perfect.
Well,
And
no,
I would
but
just
you're
not
pushing
see
for
that
it
in.
when there's no evidence of it ever working. Every socialist regime that we've ever seen operate with those specific ideals have failed.
I would argue, at least when it comes to social healthcare, I mean, there's metrics we can pull, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know where to get them offhand. I'm sure a quick Google search away, we can look at like what the positive outcomes are net overall, in a socialized or nationalized healthcare system versus a privatized healthcare system. Like, what are those
Well,
social outcomes like?
yeah, I agree. There's
You know,
problems to every scenario that we look at. If you look at a privatized system, and there's a problem of like over capitalizing it, where you charge $300 for a bottle of insulin, which is insane. So I think there is better systems on both ends. But I'm saying is just a strict system of like let's raise everybody's taxes and we all pay for it individually. I don't think works because again, I'm living in that system right now, and right now we have a huge problem where doctors are quitting on the boatload because they cannot handle the system that's been put into place. We don't have enough doctors to treat people.
I apologize, I muted myself. And I don't disagree that there are obviously issues like that. It's just a question of like cost and or good to bad references here, right? Like, if the issue is, let's say, doctor pay in your scenario, is there a way to increase that? Is there a
Well,
way to, or
my
whatever
solution, my solution would be simple: add a capitalist system, but make sure that the capitalist system cannot go over certain percentage thresholds when it comes to profiteering. That would be my
sure,
system. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, right? But at that point, what we're doing there is it's pushing towards a social or a capitalist system with socialist guardrails, right? So it's like it's free market capitalism with
Well, that's not social.
safety
Socialism is when
nets.
everybody gives back to the community and contributes amongst each other, and you're all part of one of the same collective, right? Like that's like a
I was
commune
using.
idea where you don't like
I
own
gotcha.
yourself. Right? You can own as much as you want. If you want to make $1 billion selling insulin, go for it. But then you just got to sell more and better insulin. You can't just take one bottle and make it $1 billion. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. I was using socialist more as the colloquial definition of it. I don't disagree that obviously socialism, is the government controlling the people in the sense of controlling their means of production altogether, right? Like I get you. That's not what I meant. I meant more like we're putting in there non-capitalist guardrails to allow privatized healthcare to push in a certain direction. But anyway, sir, I do apologize. I need to bounce, but I appreciate the chat.
It's
Very
good time
respectful.
too, because I'm
Hopefully,
about to pee myself. So God bless.
have a good one, sir. You too. Bye.
Bye. I don't know if anybody's left over from the previous conversations, but people like you're running, you don't want to engage. The 100% we disagreed with each other. My issue isn't engaging with arguments. My issue is engaging with people who want to engage in good faith, who are actually interested in navigating the conversation, not looking for gotchas and clips. Those guys can eat buttholes. I'll turn you on.
Back on? Wow. That was a struggle. That guy was nice. That was a nice break from earlier. Took me a while for my blood pressure to come back down. It was a great conversation. That's what John, and I guess me too. What we hope for is like, yeah, you 100% disagree with each other, but you're like civil and you work through things, and you're like, oh, that's a good point of view, and I disagree with your point of view, but I see why you think that. Hello. It was a refreshing conversation. He is very nice. Also, I'd like to go back. The oatmeal was good. I really like oatmeal. It's very comforting. I would like to go back to the fact that 70% of you have not watched The Chosen, because that's crazy. That actually is crazy to me, because I didn't think it was that like it clearly has a lot of people watching it, or they wouldn't be doing 6 seasons, but I guess the ratio is just not in our followers. But I'd 10 out of 10 recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend. What can you watch it on? You can watch it on Prime.
Did I have 1 or 2?
1. And maybe the Chosen app. I don't know if that still runs, because they got a deal with Amazon to have it on Prime. It's not a movie, it's a TV show. It's very good. The first season's a little bit slow, but if you get through the first season, the rest of it's pretty good. The last season was also a little bit slow, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a good break, because season 6 is gonna be horrible. It's gonna be horrible. So it's a good little segue. Season 6 kind of felt like they knew, or season 5 kind of felt like they knew where they wanted to end before it got to like the crucifixion. And so then they had to like fill a season with only that amount of time. So it felt like a little bit stretched out. But I don't like thinking of an actor when I think of him. Don't, first of all. But also, if anybody could portray him, Jonathan Rhys doing a gangster job. Unbelievable. And really like thoughtfully too. Dun, dun, dun. It is not Mormon. Calm down. John made a video about that when the whole thing came out, I think. So you could try and scroll back and find that, but it's not Mormon. And like, even if the Mormons made it, but it's accurate to the Bible and Christianity, what's the issue?
It's a freaking TV show. Relax. Oh no, I watched the Spider-Man movie, and it wasn't exactly like Spider-Man was supposed to be. All right.
6 is gonna be horrible because it's the crucifixion. So.
All right, let's see. How much you guys want to bet? I'm going to look at the queue. It's going to be empty. 2 people. You get the crazies at the start. You always get the crazy people at the start. You run through them and then just, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I am 38.
All right, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Well, see, I'm an ex-Christian. And so when I've read Matthew 16, 27 to 28, it shows that Jesus failed to come when he said he would. Yeah, so that's my...
When did he say he was going to come?
He said he was going to come before the death of some of his followers.
Okay.
So it says here.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So it says...
Hold on.
Yeah.
We don't have to read it. We both know what it says.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just become a preterist?
Because preterism, you have to make up some kind of cope to hold that position.
What cope?
You have to say he at least came back partially.
That's partial preterism.
Again, yeah.
I'm talking about preterism.
Yeah. So define preterism.
Preterism that Jesus' second coming already happened.
Yeah, but then you've got the problem with the judgment of the works and the kingdom. If he had to come, there should have been a kingdom by now.
Yeah,
because the Bible says that
there's a
his kingdom will be everlasting, correct?
Yeah, there's a kingdom.
No. His kingdom will be everlasting, correct?
Yeah, there's a kingdom.
Yeah, so it's not here.
Yes, it is.
And he's not reigning. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's not reigning.
Really? How many Christians are out there?
I'm not talking about Christians. I'm talking about, is he physically reigning, yes or no?
Yes.
He's not physically reigning.
Yes. Why'd you ask me if you already knew the answer?
Because that's why I left Christianity. The reason why I left Christianity, because one, there's no evidence that he came back. You literally have to grab at straws and make things up.
Well, you're just saying vague references. You're not making.
Back.
Yeah, you're just making vague references. You're not making any arguments to draw these.
No,
conclusions.
I reference the Bible. I reference Matthew 7:27. For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father.
Who are his
then
angels?
He will repay everyone. The ones that he mentions in Matthew 25.
Who specifically?
His holy angels.
Yeah, who?
So, what do you mean who?
What does the word angel mean?
Messenger.
Right. So who are the messengers?
The ones he's talking about in Matthew 25.
The ones. Who are the ones he's talking about?
Heavenly beings.
Oh my God. Who?
What do you mean who?
What you're saying he's coming with his angels. Angels means messenger.
Yeah, read Matthew
who
25.
Who are the messengers?
Read Matthew 25. It tells you.
Who?
Matthew 25 tells you.
Just tell me if you've already read it. Who?
He comes with the heavenly beings. That's what I said. He comes with the heavenly beings.
Who are those beings?
Angels.
Angels just means messenger.
Ready? Listen. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him.
Yep.
He will sit on the throne of his glory and all the nations will be gathered before him. He will separate people one from another. It's not about a final judgment.
Let's just figure it out. Let's just figure it out. Matthew 28:19. Who does he send out to give the gospel?
Yeah, that's not a proper. So he obviously sends out his disciples, but they still die.
Don't predict what I'm trying to say. Right? Just answer the question. Who does he send out?
His disciples.
And they are supposed to make.
Okay, the apostles.
Yeah, and they're supposed to make who?
Disciples of all nations.
So they're supposed to make more disciples. When they go out, are they delivering a message?
It's not the same though.
I didn't ask if it was the same. Are they delivering a message?
They are delivering a message.
Okay, so could you call them angels?
You'd say they were messengers, yeah, sure. But not in the sense he's talking. Not in the sense he's talking about there, because there's a judgment.
Okay.
Where was the judgment?
Hold on. Anything that this is also something that Jesus says to the disciples in John. He says, anything that you say, if you forgive their sins, they'll be forgiven. If you hold their sins against them, will be held against them. Are they judging?
It says here, for the Son of Man is to come with his angels.
Are they judging?
No, I'm not running.
You're right. You're actually running. Are they judging?
No. Listen carefully.
You're absolutely 100% running. Are they judging?
No, I'm not.
You can answer the question and then give a clarification, but you are 100% running.
Okay, sure. I'd say yes and no.
Oh my God. That's a contradiction. It cannot be yes and no at the same time.
No, because they're sent to preach and to heal and to help, not
Does he not say if they
execute.
hold their sins against them, it will be held. If they forgive sins, it will be forgiven.
Yeah, it does say that.
Okay, so is that judging?
I mean, in a sense, sure. If you want to
What do you
put
mean
it in
a
that sense?
It either is or isn't.
Okay, the reason why I say that, because obviously you see his mission. His mission's not to condemn, right? Which is a judgment. So
okay, last chance. Answer the question. Are they judging?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So you can't answer the question.
It still doesn't answer the question. That's the problem. You're not answering the question.
Well,
there was no judgment from Christ.
He is judging. What are you talking about?
No, he's not. Look.
Yes, he is.
Listen very carefully.
This is the verse. This is the verse. Pay attention. If you hold it against them, I will hold it against them.
That's not the same thing. Listen.
God bless.
Truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not.
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. Tired of these people. Crap. Somebody said in the chat this would be an easy shahada. Well, come up and make me do my shahada. Shahada.
That is
Or that guy.
yeah.
You meant the other guy. My bad.
I think. Where was it? I saw
All right,
it.
we went through the whole queue, man. We went to.
Yeah,
I told you guys. This is the stuff I told you guys yesterday. When we're doing Jerry Springer stuff, we had 300 people on TikTok alone. That's not including all the other places that we're streaming to. As soon as we started having good faith conversations, this is why I want to quit this. This is why I want to stop. I'm trying to find a means to do something else outside of this because this is nonsense, man. This is nonsense. There's no good faith conversations out there. There's nobody really out there trying to actually figure out the truth and understand it. They're all trying to get clips. Just like freaking Shaniqua or whatever her name was. That's all they were trying to do. What's up, bro? You've been up before, but how old are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. My phone does this sometimes. I didn't mean to request stuff.
You're good,
but
bro.
yeah, I'm way overaged anyway.
You're good.
Have a good one.
You too, man. Also, Skeletor as a profile picture is great. Oscar, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Okay. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
35.
All right, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
You ever heard of the Crusades?
Sure. Hold on, just one sec. I just want to show you something. Just wait. Just give it a couple seconds. Give it a couple seconds. Don't run. TikTok, don't ban me. This is my own video. I made it myself. Let's give it a couple seconds. Don't leave yet. It's like 3 seconds. No, I've never heard of the Crusades. What are those? What's the Crusade? No, I never heard of those. Tell me about them.
You never heard of the Crusades?
Oh my lord!
You weren't looking, were you?
No.
That's so rude.
God bless. Have yourself a great day, man.
That video was stupid.
Oh, so you
were watching?
You little liar.
I thought it was stupid the first couple seconds, so I looked away. But why are you grifting, bro? I don't even think you believe in what you're talking about.
Why does anybody grift? They do it for
money.
For money, yeah. As long as you admit it, I guess we don't got shit to talk about. Like you're just a grifter.
Define
grift. Kick me.
Define grift.
You can't leave on your own.
Someone who tries to get money for something that they don't believe in themselves.
Oh, how do you know I don't believe it?
Huh?
How do you know I don't believe it?
Because just because how you talk, you don't have no real arguments.
So could I give bad arguments and still believe it?
That's possible, but I don't think you're.
Okay, so then how do you know I don't believe it?
Did I said I think you're a grifter. I don't know for sure.
You said you're a grifter. You said you're a grifter. Why are you grifting? And I said, why does anybody grift? For the money.
Yeah.
So how do you know I'm a grifter?
Because of shit like this.
Like what? How does this prove grifting? Grifting in the category to be a grifter, one has to not believe what they're saying.
You don't believe, because if I was to say,
how do you know I don't believe?
Christian, if I was to say, why should I be a Christian? Your answer is going to be like, well, why shouldn't I be a Christian?
No, his answer
Like,
going to
yeah,
be,
man,
that's
you're
not the topic.
It's not the
any
topic.
real Christian would say, any real Christian would give me a real definition of like
Well,
why
really?
it's real, why I should believe in it.
Hold on. So let's go through it. Let's do
John,
super chat.
you have to play it again with Subway Surfer underneath to entertain this simpleton.
You're not wrong. Okay. So Jesus says, go forth and give the gospel to all people, right? Have you ever heard the gospel before?
The gospel?
Yeah.
No.
You've never heard the news that Jesus loves you, and if you love him back, you're not going to go to hell?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So you've heard the gospel. What does Jesus say to do to people who reject the gospel?
I don't remember.
He says to turn your back to him and kick dust up at him. So.
Well, you should do that.
So yeah, why ought I not be a Christian?
Take his word. Because it's not real.
Okay, prove it. My favorite part is you can't figure out how to leave the app, so you're stuck here with me. It's me and you, big guy.
I know how to leave the app, you fucking idiot.
Then do it.
You asked him to kick you, so that kind of makes us feel like you don't know how.
All right, he figured it out. Good for him. I'm proud of him. I'm so proud of you, little guy. Hold on. Reverse psychology works every time. Now he can't call me a runner for kicking. That's what I'm going to do from now on. You're running. No, you just don't know how to leave the app. I'm just helping you out, bro. That's great. That's great. This guy's named Harold P. Richardson. I feel like he's going to come up and say, quite. It's a dope name. It is. Oh, we got another watcher on Kick. Woohoo.
Wow.
We're up to like 2 now.
I hope I don't have to boot this one.
Yeah. All right, you're not connecting. Let's see.
Aw. That's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
John's teeth are feeling much better.
Well, no.
For those asking. No?
I don't have it anymore.
Oh my gosh. You've been doing this to me for days.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 34. And I'm great.
I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Yeah, so just what you said, the guy previously, you say you're a grifter, and I agree. You're here begging, asking people to give you money, right? So you're earning out of this.
This is that guy.
And your arguments are kind of weak. So,
but how does that make me a grifter? Because the if-then conditional of a grifter is you have to not believe it.
Yeah, you don't sound like you do.
But that's just your preference. Like, how do you know I don't believe it?
That's not my preference. That's my perception.
It's literally your preference. Oh, it doesn't sound like it.
No, there's no.
That's like saying how do you know pizza tastes good? Because it tastes good.
It's like, for instance, as a human, right? You learn how to gauge people, and then you kind of like.
So you're the arbiter. You're the arbiter of people being truthful.
My paradigm is subjective.
So what we should do then, ladies and gentlemen, what we should do,
you're a manipulator.
Let's get rid of the polygraph machine and we'll just put this guy in a room with people and we'll see if he can get the truth out of him.
In my perception, I find you to be manipulative. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're a genuine person.
Why should I trust your perception?
Well, you don't have to. But if I had to
why should I believe I'm a grifter then? If I don't have to trust your perception?
But if I had to talk about you, I'd just say you're a bad faith. You're not someone that you're not a truth seeker. You're trying to.
And what is your argument evidence for that? I'm willing to change, but you got to give me a reason to believe it.
Okay, so first of all, why are you trying to earn a living out of coming up on TikTok?
Your grift is too powerful. You begging for money has taken control away from me and is making me give you my money. I'm powerless to stop it. Help.
Why? Yeah, so why am I trying to make a living? Is that your question?
Out of, doing this nonsense here on TikTok, yeah.
Why ought I not?
Oh, come in, give me a reason to leave Christianity.
Yeah.
Anytime someone gives you a sensible arguments,
wait. What's the reason I shouldn't do it?
Well, was Jesus asking for money, do you think, like when he was
Jesus specifically? Yes. Yeah, he asked for money. He actually had somebody who took control of the money. This was Judas. Judas handled the money. Did you not read the Gospels?
Okay, so actually, bring me up to speed. So Jesus was there asking for money. So he was going out asking for money, basically, right?
Well, he wasn't going around and say, give me money, but he took money from people. Yeah.
Yeah, can you give me an example from the Bible where Jesus is collecting?
The two women came and funded his ministry. Who are those women, guys? Remind me. Oh, damn.
Must give money. Zombie emoji, woman zombie emoji, man zombie emoji.
So yeah, Jesus 100% took money. He had Judas who handled the money. That was his job as being part of the 12 apostles. And then you also have Paul who says anybody who gives the gospel, it deserves a wage for their work. So what are you talking about?
Fantastic. So thank you. You just helped me now believe even less in the gospel or any kind of good faith that they could have had in the first century. It gives motivation for the whole thing to be deceptive.
But your argument was I'm a grifter because I'm doing things that I don't believe.
Let's go back to the money part.
Oh, no, you're changing it now. You're changing the standard. You got roasted and now you're changing the argument and you're running.
I came to talk about
your
Jesus,
whole
right?
argument was I'm a grifter. That was your argument.
That's not my
a grifter
argument.
is somebody. That was your argument. You're a disingenuous little baboon.
No,
I appreciate your time. I hope. I hope.
Run away.
I'm not running away. I'm helping you because you don't know how to leave the chat.
Who was the previous guest?
Somebody call his mom.
Somebody call his mom. Embarrassing. I hope. I hope you live in the hell you make for yourself. That was a saying I heard recently that I think is pretty good because, hey, yeah, it's whatever you make for yourself. Bro literally just lied.
Are you surprised? He literally comes up all the time and just lies. Yes, I told you. It's the same guy.
I don't remember these people.
He's the worst.
I pushed them out of my memory. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
22.
I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Because Christianity, just like any of the big religions, is only a grift to make money, really. And have power. Like there's really no
define grift?
Spirituality when it comes to it. Define grift? I don't really feel like doing that.
Then how do you know it's a grift if you don't know what the definition of grift is?
You can call it whatever you want. It's just there to make money and have power. There's not really any actual spirituality within it.
So if Christianity exists to have power, why is it that for the first 400 or 500 years, Christians had no power when actually persecuted?
Okay, we're talking about right now, right?
But you're saying that's why it came into existence. You said that's why it exists.
I said all the three big religions, they're all the same
You said,
thing.
You said the religions exist to have power. If it is the case that Christianity exists to have power, then you would not expect to see the first 400 years of Christian be persecuted.
Okay, what's happening right now?
That's irrelevant.
They have no power.
Even if it was the case that Christians had all the...
That's irrelevant. How is that irrelevant?
I'll explain. I'm going to explain. Even if it was the case,
irrelevant?
I'm trying to explain, but you keep asking me how it's relevant.
It is relevant. So whatever
I agree, it's relevant. So let me explain. Yeah. So even if
it's not relevant, you literally told me it's not relevant.
No,
people don't want. People don't.
So dumb.
People don't want to. I'm going to kick him, and they're going to say I'm running, but he's not even letting me answer the question he's asking.
I don't care if you kick
Can
me,
I ask it, or can I answer it? I'll wait till I have your permission because that's how this chat thing works nowadays. Is that whoever they agree with, if they agree with you, you're the one that's cooking me and I need your permission to do anything. Do I have your permission, Master Sir, to answer the question?
This is your issue, bro. You actually don't care about having a real conversation. You care is winning the debate. That's not how you get anywhere, bro. That's lame as fuck. You care more about winning the debate than your actual talking point.
You're running.
I'm not running. That's actually what your ideology is, bro. You don't care about anything but winning the debate.
All right.
Because you're addicted to that shit.
Oh, yeah.
God bless. All right, everybody. Running shoes and L's in the chat for me. Go ahead. Put runners and L's in the chat. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because that's how it works. That's how debate culture works nowadays, guys. All you have to do is talk really, really fast, say a whole bunch of things, and be incredibly insufferable and dishonest. And as soon as somebody doesn't want to talk to you, you're running. Do it. But everybody, you're all okay doing it. Go for it. Go for it. Oscar, hello, how are you? Oh, 1 second.
Christians are still the most unlived and imprisoned for their religion globally, BTW. In Asia, 2 in 7 Christians are jailed or executed.
True. Oscar, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Let me refresh. Maybe it's something on my end. Oscar? Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you. How old are you?
I'm 29.
All right, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
Because you're a grifter. I'm kidding. No, the last three callers is crazy. But no, I'm still. No, I don't think you're a grifter personally. But so one thing I wanted to run by you was, kind of like the beginning of things. Like, could I ask what you think God was doing prior to creation or everything in existence?
I think it's a nonsensical question because God exists outside of time. So to say what God was doing is prior doesn't work because we can't comprehend how it is to operate outside of time.
Okay, that's a new perspective. So from my perspective, I'm as an atheist, I hold to the Big Bang theory, and I believe that prior to everything there was a bang. I also believe that there was prior to the bang there was like matter just compiling up until it reached that culmination of that bang. I think that'd be more plausible.
That's against the consensus of the Big Bang because the Big Bang instituted the three pillars: time, space, and matter. There was an infinitesimally small point, right? So you can't say that as matter was collecting outside of time because that would go against the Big Bang theory.
Could you expound on why I can't hold to that position?
Yeah, because of the red shift, right? When we look at the red shift, we see everything was kind of pulling back to the center. And so if we follow the math, it says that everything that existed all had to exist at a singularity point. So you can't say that there's matter outside being collected because everything would have to exist at the singularity. Everything would have to be in there already.
So do you think that'd be a problem with, for example, infinite regression?
Well, I don't know how that's relevant to what we're talking about. Like you can hold to infinite regress. That's fine. That doesn't disprove Christianity.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not understanding why the idea of matter compounding up into a culminating point of the bang will be less plausible than.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that's not the Big Bang theory.
I mean, like, it's less plausible than what you believe prior to creation.
I have no reason to believe it. Let's start with that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything else regarding this topic.
All right, man. Appreciate you. God bless.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. You were up before, so no. You have 100 viewers, just quit. Well, how many viewers do we have total, Abby? Do the math. Because everybody seems to think I'm only live on TikTok.
How much on TikTok?
112.
450.
450 people are watching me, bro. 400. I should just quit. You're right. You're absolutely right. 450 people watching me right now. I should just quit. I should just be done. Just done. Like, my goodness. I should just be, just pack it up. Pack it up. 450 people watching and I'm making a living income. Oh, damn. That's it. You're cooked. You're cooked. Just remember, if you start a restaurant, you should quit unless you become a McDonald's franchise. Right? Even if you're paying all your bills and you have a decent amount of customer base. That's how that works. Right? If you're not getting 30,000 people watch you, pack it up. You're done. You're done.
Do you want to hear something funny?
$5 a week. No, definitely not $5 a week. Let's just say I pay all my bills and Abby's bills doing this. Now, granted, our bills are not that much. We live very much under our means, but still, what's funny?
Somebody wanted Modern Centurion fired as a mod, and I just said no. And they were like, well, I'm a Christian and I've been watching regularly and it makes me not want to watch. And I said, he makes you not want to watch?
Modern
Not
Centurion?
John?
Make Modern Centurion a super mod now.
I don't think I could do that.
Give him super mod status.
I think they have super mod status.
Give him super duper mod status.
But I just think it's funny that somehow he managed to tick them off more than you did.
That's crazy work. Good job, Modern Centurion. I'm proud of you. Well done. Make him a giga mod.
Just funky.
Hey, I pay good money for John to make more than $5. That's true. It's true. Funky pays most of my bills. Actually, you know what? Funky, I don't think you're in the lead anymore. I'm just saying.
What?
I don't think Funky's in the lead. I think Shake is taking the lead. I'm pretty confident Shake is taking the lead.
I think it is just different because Shake pays in 20s.
Yeah, but I think cumulatively, I'm pretty sure because I went and looked. It doesn't show you who. It doesn't show you who's paid more. I tried to find. It doesn't say because I was going to make you guys fight about it. But it does say who the number one fan is, and Shake is number one fan.
What?
Abby, you're number 10. That really says something.
But I think it's because it doesn't just take like amount. It takes like it's based off of how much you talk.
Oh, I don't know what it accumulates in it.
No, I know.
Could be all of it.
No, it's
I don't know the data. I'm just saying Shake is number one.
Talking.
Shake is number
Shake
one.
is paid in 20s. Funky pays in 100s.
Shake sometimes drops hundreds. It happens. It happens. We have to do the math because if Shake does $20 10 times, but Funky does $100 once, who paid more? I'm just saying.
Oh boy.
John, what's my chances of beating Islam Makhachev 1v1 in jiu-jitsu? 0.
Yeah. Ain't no way.
0 out of 0 times do I win. There's no way in heck I could ever beat Islam Makhachev in any sort of grappling whatsoever. Not only could I not beat him, he would probably choke me out in under 2 minutes. And that's saying something because I'm not a slouch.
Generous.
That's being generous. Yeah. That's that's being like super confident. I'm feeling great that day.
Yeah.
Probably in under a minute, he's choking me out.
Funky says he has to claim you as a dependent on his taxes.
Number one, baby. It's basically mostly on money. There you go.
I don't think so because
we should all pay our jizya, or else when Big John Steele becomes a saint, he won't perform intercessory prayers for us. That'd be crazy. Could you imagine? Here's your interary saint of grift. He will help you, but you have to throw a certain amount of money in the donation box. That'd be a wild take. Shake super chats are why I can't start a new channel. You've entertained my day off well today. Good. I'm happy. I'm happy. Got some. We have no one in the queue now. That's just, dog. I need to just be okay with like trying. I gotta practice my rhetoric and try to do the gotcha and get you type questions and make people look stupid to just grow my channel. I could really be what everybody calls me to be. Shakelandia number one. Love you, Funky. Yeah. Funky, they're doing taxes. Big John Steele.
You're like, how old's your child?
It's 35.
How old are you?
Oh my God. Please don't. No, don't worry. I'm not going to do that. I actually do have a sense of honor. People say I don't, but I really do. I really don't want that. I want to change the culture if I can and try to move it to what it ought to be. The holy runner, Big John Steele. Amen. Just because I don't live in chat, I'm a morb. I don't know what morb is.
You young kids in your terms.
Yeah. Young raffians. What came first, men or animal? The manimal did. And then we divided. See, there used to be, so here's the reality. Evolution is true, but it's backwards. We used to be just one giant super being, and then we started to de-evolve into what we had today. So it's like this great super being, the manimal, right? Man, pig, bear. And as time went on, we just started to break apart and divide into different things. And eventually we became all that we are. And eventually we're going to all evolve into single-celled organisms. That's the ultimate thing. That's what's happening. That's not what the Bible says. It's 100% in First Opinions 3:15. Sounds like what?
Nonsense. Nonsense. It's just nonsense. The silent G.
What is a single cell? Well, it's one less than a double cell. My goodness gracious. All right, we have no one in the queue. Should we call it? Should we call it quits? Should we hang it up? Should we call it a day? I mean, we got roasted by a bunch of people today.
Look at Bert's little foot. I know you don't really like him right now, but just try. Just try. Sean's mad at Bert.
24-hour riot. A single cell is a cell that is singular. Amen. Sarah J316. You missed it today. Today was a day, and I called it. As soon as I clicked live. I could smell it in the air. You know how I know it's going to be an interesting day with crazy callers is when I'm tired. If I'm tired, that's when they're going to call in. Bert is a saint, and he's not a saint. Saint asshole, Saint Assholeville. That's what he is.
Isn't it cute?
No.
Bert's having a hard time on his diet.
Well, we're going to take it off of him because he's been Saint Asshole.
Yeah.
Ever since we put it on him.
And John does not appreciate it.
No. Should have stayed up all night like I suggested. Should have, could have. I think I'm going to return that game.
What game?
I bought the Halo game. I tried it last night.
You didn't like it?
I did, but I don't think it's worth the price of admission.
Well,
it's like,
did you play it for 2 hours?
No, still under that. It's one of those games where it's good, and I would like to play it one day, but it's like way cheaper. It's like, hey, McDonald's is good, but would you spend $100 on it? No. You don't have a mic connected, bro.
Somebody, I don't know how to say your name, but you can go eat.
Mm-hmm.
Take a break.
Me?
No.
Oh. 343 absolutely killed Halo. Yeah. It's a $20 game, 100%. I would spend $40 on it. I'd spend $40, $50 on it. $80? No. It's not an $80 game. So I think I'm going to return it and wait for a deep discount. Because it is fun and I would like to play it. I just don't think it's worth the price. No break for me. Halo is trash. It's free on Game Pass. I don't have Game Pass. And it's not free because you have to pay the monthly subscription. I converted 5 years ago. My testimony is on my YT.
Oh. Is that what they said? I guess they were asking if they could eat you. I don't know. I missed it.
That's gay.
That is pretty gay.
All
John
right.
has hell divers. Already.
How much you guys want to bet? Oh my goodness. Look at that. I vanished. I got raptured, y'all. Hold on. I'll turn that all the way down. Yeah, that's all right. That's crazy, Bright. How much you guys want to bet I'm going to get a whole bunch of clips made of me today?
Probably.
How much you guys want to bet? Which is crazy because like there's been times I've been cooked and I'm like, God damn, there's going to be a clip of me getting cooked. I did not get cooked today at all, but I still guarantee you there's going to be clips because people don't understand
idiots.
Basic argumentation.
For all the haters' bills, playful face emoji.
Looking
Thank you
white as
very
Muhammad.
much.
Yeah, I'm looking. That's crazy. That I might even close the window. I'll just close the blinds.
Somebody said you guys weren't lying about the shorts chat being insufferable. You guys don't believe us until you go there.
Oh yeah, the shorts chat is awful. That's where happiness goes to die. That's where like it's just crazy. It's crazy. Oh My back and hips are so tight right now. So tight. You cooked how? By being technically correct. Oh, my goodness gracious. So you converted around the same time as the pandemic? I think after, slightly
just
after.
after. I mean, technically, we were still kind of in it, but just
Mm.
coming out of it.
They're gonna find a correlate now and do a correlation versus causation fallacy. Watch.
Shorts chat you can find by going to John's channel. And then who mods the shorts chat? Funky, Gabe, Modern Centurion, Striker. Basically, all of our mods will take tours over there.
Yeah, we have to send them out on tour because. Oh, you meant no harm, no problem. Yeah, so we have to send them out on tour because it's just despair and they might not make it back. These IEMs are area 2 Moondrop area 2s. That took me a minute. Yeah, I always assume that everybody is just instantly out to like say some sort of negative, crazy thing.
Yeah. John's been traumatized.
I've been traumatized. We also have a video coming out in 10 minutes, by the way, guys. A lot of it you guys have seen because we did it live. I just remade it to be put out as content. So I appreciate it, even if you've seen it, to go put it on in the background, maybe even mute it so it plays through, so it helps the algorithm. Drop a like and a comment. That'd be appreciated. It comes out in 10 minutes or so. Oh, you finally got your mic connected. Awesome. I have questions. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Let me refresh. It's probably me this time. All right. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Is my mic working now?
Well, yeah, but it's also in the desert 7 miles away from you as you're jumping out of a plane.
The desert, 7 miles away? What's that?
I can't hear you, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Sorry. Try again another time.
All right. God bless. Jimmy, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello, John. I'm 26.
All right, man. I'm a Christian. Why ought I not be?
I'm not here to tell you what to be, but if I were to tell you, it would be the lack of empirical evidence. And not God, I mean, not Jesus Christ. I believe Jesus Christ existed. Just, not God.
Okay, congratulations. But that's not really an argument.
Yeah, well, the argument would be there is no evidence for the existence of God, therefore God doesn't exist.
Okay, prove to me there's no evidence.
Well, exactly. I can't exactly see, touch, feel, or
You're just telling me what you can do.
Oh. And I can't put God under a microscope?
Yeah, okay, these are things you can't do, but it's not going to convince me of anything.
Oh, and what would convince you?
Yeah, an inductive, deductive, or abductive argument that leads to the conclusion that the likelihood of the death and resurrection is so small that it'd be irrational to hold it.
And you believe that the belief in the resurrection is, reasonable to hold?
That's entailed, yeah.
What do you mean by entailed?
In the statement that I made.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. So when you mean the evidence, you would say like eyewitness testimony, but from the Gospels?
That's an aspect, sure. Do you have an argument?
Well, just asking a couple of questions to see what would be.
I'm not here to answer your question.
Oh, well, guess I messed up. Nope, I don't. Sorry, bro.
All right. Appreciate your time. God bless.
See?
The only thing that I've heard since we've started this topic as an actual argument is, but my morals. That's all I've heard as an actual argument. Everything else has been, well, let me ask a bunch of questions and just tell you I'm not convinced. These are the two arguments that we have gotten. we've gotten, I disagree with what God did in the Bible. Or we're going to go 3. I disagree with what God did in the Bible. The second one is why bad things. And third, I know convinced. That's it. That has been the totality of arguments that I've gotten. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, I think, yeah. 4th argument, me no likey. Yeah, I'll give you that. Me no likey. That's it. My lazy eye kicked in again. It's happening a lot lately. Look. I'll believe the gospel. I'll believe in Jesus because Jesus believes in me. I got stuff in my tooth too. Because he believes in me. Hey, that's the truth. Why is it so bad lately? My lazy eye is not. I used to like kicking in and out every now and then, but it's been the last few days. It's been really bad.
Probably because you're tired.
Probably because I'm exhausted. Yeah. Yeah, you never noticed my lazy eye before? Listen, I'm not perfect.
Super noticeable.
It's usually not super noticeable, but look today, man. Like, look at that.
I don't actually think it's that bad, but maybe it's just because I look at you all the time. You don't fix a lazy eye if it's really bad. Like if you can't see, they have glasses that will like refocus the eye.
Maybe that's why I have
It's
trouble
super-
seeing from
it's
things at a
super-
distance.
It's super weird. I knew somebody who had a lazy eye that was basically like looking in the side of his face. So he'd put his glasses on and it would line up, and then he'd take his glasses off and it would drift. He'd put his glasses on, line up, off, drift.
Man,
It was
maybe
weird.
I should go get my eyes checked up. Because that's bad today. Look at that. I'll believe the gospel. I would like
See,
to
to me, it
give you
just
the
looks
good
like you're
news.
looking sideways.
No, this eye's looking straight. This eye's looking sideways. Exactly how old does a book have to be for you to make your life a foundation? That's not even, it could be 5 weeks old. If it had a good reason to believe in it, I would hold to it. John, I have a lazy eye too. So did both my daughters until I had them treated by a pediatric ophthalmologist. It's called Stebersmismis. I have Isteropapa. Yours is Extropiopio. Okay.
You can't read those big words.
That was too hard, yeah. Well, I can't see it. I so lazy, it's on food stamps, yeah. Define an argument. An argument is usually atomic propositions that lead to a conclusion. That's what it's going to be. So any atomic propositions that include an antecedent and a consequent, those antecedents are going to lead to the consequent based off those propositions. That's an argument for you. Right eye's closer than the left. Everybody's just pointing out how ugly I am now. Now people are commenting about my nose and my lazy eye, and you guys just want me to be ugly. That's all I can notice now. It's driving me nuts. There we go. Thank you. I do look great and handsome. What is a debate? A debate is where two people can have conflicting ideas come together to derive the truth. John, you're so damn silly. I'm serious. Mine has gotten a little worse with age. Yes, go see an optometrist, not an optometrist.
Optometrist. I know that one.
No, yeah, actually, I should go see somebody about my eyes. But sure, if I call you hot, I'm gay. No, you're gay because you're gay, bro. It has nothing to do with whether or not you think I'm hot. It's just because you're gay. It only matters what my wife thinks. She doesn't.
What? Hey. Why am I catching strays?
It's literally how I won you over. It's by throwing shade in your general direction. John has blue eyes. One blue this way, the other one blue that way. Still better looking than me. Well, that's not hard though. I've seen you turn on your camera.
Ouch.
That's like.
You've seen him?
Oh yeah,
Is
I've
it
seen
weird?
him. It is very weird.
It always weirds me out
I
when
was
I find out what you guys look like.
I was in the Discord once and they all had their cameras on and I felt like, my God, I was like.
You're uncomfortable?
No, I felt like a god because I realized how ugly they all were. And I'm like, I am a freaking Greek god compared to these heathens.
Shut up.
It was insane. I was like, I felt really good about myself as soon as you guys turned the cameras on. I was like, wow, that's great. Also, you're on the thumbnail for Modern Day Debates, new debate coming up, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
They always use Funky.
Yeah, because he's a really good debater, but he just doesn't do it.
No, but I mean his picture. He was in the picture last time and he said he wasn't in it.
It's because he's really handsome.
Gabe says they all look like stock photos of white guys.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Oh. That's not very flattering. Why did I do that?
This is generally stock photo right there. That's what everyone looked like. That's what everyone looked like. That's not true. That's not true. I'm just being mean. Are we getting anybody going to come up or what? Or can we call it a day? Luckily, I didn't turn my camera on then. We were lucky. I may be ugly, but at least I'm not Canadian. That's true. That's true.
We don't really have time anyway.
Yeah, it's true. We got to leave in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, like 5, I think. Modern Centurion says, look up a general image of a frat bro, and that's me with a hat on. You do kind of sound like a frat bro.
No, I don't see that. No, I disagree with that one.
You do? You've not seen him?
Who?
Modern Centurion?
Oh, I thought you said someone else.
No.
John would look really handsome after a few facial surgeries. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, Funky said he's not in the video again. They just like his face.
You're not in the video? They just used your profile or your picture? I can contact James and be like, that's crazy, bro. Although you probably have James's contact too, though.
That is crazy. Twice now.
Keep quoting the Bible to me so you don't have to make an argument. Are you talking to someone else?
He's talking to somebody else.
Okay, because I was just like, I'm like the least Bible quotey person in the world. I think we got to do it, guys. I think we got to do the gotcha culture. I think we got to shift into that direction.
No.
We got to, baby.
No.
Listen, do you like your bills being paid for?
Yeah, but I don't think we have to sacrifice our standards.
We're not getting anybody up.
Well, it's because you had that really long conversation with the Catholic.
Yeah, because it was a good conversation and everybody left.
We could have cut it shorter.
And to talk to who?
I don't know, the next person. People like things that move along. They don't like to be on somebody for forever. But I don't think,
which is crazy because like that's the way it used to be. You pull up a debate between like William Lane Craig and Bart Ehrman, and it'd be a 3-hour debate. That's the way it used to be, man. That's the way it be. We got to do the gotcha clip culture now. It's what gets the views, man. It was a great conversation. Really, really well in depth. Really navigated. Really sought for truth. It was awesome. But like as soon as we did it. As soon as we got I'm going to take you out back and shoot you. Just ask people what a woman is. I would love to, but I've been banned off TikTok so many times. It's insane. So many times. It's nuts. The new vid is up. Yes. All right, guys. Go watch that. I think we'll call it a day. I know it's a short live today. I apologize. Again, I started late and we got to go this afternoon. So But we will. I like arguing a drama. It reminds me of my childhood. There is something to say. People really do like it. Shaniqua was especially riveting.
I like drama too, but we can't just like be wieners for the sake of money. That feels gross.
Then we will actually become what they told us we are.
Yeah. Like, we're no better than anybody else, I suppose.
Our Father is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lord, you are good in all that you do. I ask that everybody who's come against us today, that you look out for them and you draw them into the knowledge of who you are, and you show them the love that you can provide for them. Lord, show them who they are, who you are, sorry. And Lord, if we're wrong in what we do, correct us and put us back on the right path, for we are just broken, sinful creatures. Forgive us of our sins, continue to walk with us, give us grace, and give us opportunity to share the gospel as you see fit. We ask this all in Jesus' name. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, for yours is the power and the glory forever. Amen.
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 What's that Batman quote?
There's a lot.
Are you either...
you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
There you go. That's what happened to us.
Yeah. I actually have. I've saw myself go from hero to villain in a lot of scenarios and back to hero again. All right, folks, you know what to do if you want to support the channel. BigJohnSteel.com, BigJohnSteel.com. It's where you get access to exclusive content. We have like a 4-hour live that's just posted yesterday exclusively for those members. So go watch that. We're also posted a new video just on YouTube right now. So definitely go watch that as well to support the channel. It's what helps us grow. It's Big John Steel on YouTube. If you're watching on TikTok, you can follow here, but I don't care about TikTok that much. It's a plague on society. It's just a great way to get conversations with people. With that being said, we're going to hang out on YouTube for 5-10 more minutes. So if you have any questions or anything you want to say, Big John Steel at YouTube. That's what we really want to see people grow. So God bless you guys. Have yourselves a great day. And we will see you all on Friday or tomorrow. We might be doing a special live tomorrow, but I haven't yet to get the confirmation on that. So just wait.
Special live? I don't even know about it.
No, she doesn't. That's what makes it special, is she's not allowed to come. All right. God bless.
I'm not usually here on Thursdays anyway.
My goodness gracious, guys. What a day. What a day. I knew today. I knew it was going to be wild. I just sensed it in the air and I wasn't wrong. You just the numbers 5 guy. Tell me what's wrong with numbers 5. Oh, you know. It's like, my God, like I don't understand these people. I really don't. It's like, oh, we don't like Christians. We want to change your mind. Let me come up and insult you and talk down to you and make you feel like crap. Let's not actually navigate it and figure it out. Why does TikTok hate me? Meanwhile, he insults at any moment he can. No, it's not why does TikTok hate me? It's TikTok is just trash. Right? And I think because I've recognized it's trash, it's also decided I was trash. Now we're in this weird phase where we still live together but haven't broken up yet.
That's funny.
That's generally
That's
the
a
case.
good comparison.
It's a good comparison. I'm thinking of going over to, instead of getting my callers on TikTok, I'm thinking about doing X Spaces.
What? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Are people on there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's becoming a thing now where people are doing, that's where they're having conversations and debating. So we could try that for a little while. I could try to do both at the same time, right? Depending on where people are watching. Have a great day to you too. Did we reach our donut goal today?
Yes, we did.
Thank you guys.
Over.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Kick Gaming stream when? Probably this weekend. Because I won't be live at all next week. I don't know how the discovery is for it though. So what we'll probably do is we'll probably do it alongside TikTok and alongside YouTube Shorts, and just give people the option. And if it ends up becoming a thing and having half decent discovery, then we'll just go on there and move away from TikTok, because I'm beyond sick of TikTok. I would love to just delete the app. Oh goodness, those Twitter people may be as annoying as TikTok. Sure, that's a possibility, but like, my God.
That's fine. It's more about the app.
Yeah, the app is awful. And also, I could say what I want more on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant.
Week without John in the morning is going to be rough. I agree. But it's going to be good for our mental health.
We are not going to be here. We are going on vacation.
We are.
So rewatch. I'm sure there's a live you missed
There's
out there.
50, there's 50, over 50 videos on the website.
And like, I'm sure if you go back far enough, there's probably lives that you've not watched. Especially if you're newer.
Abby, shut up.
What?
There's over 50 videos on the website if you need more Big John Steel content.
Okay. I figured they'd already seen that.
No, Abby, she doesn't know what's salesmanship. Hey, let me tell you the free options that we offer. But oh no, here's the paid option. No, go to the free option, guys. Go to the free option. This woman.
It all helps.
This woman. Only 50. That's enough. That should get you by.
It's not enough.
That should get you by. It's not enough. Oh,
Hi,
yeah.
Major John.
It should get you by until.
Enjoy the house while we're away.
Yeah. So don't come out of the basement though. I watch all 50 at the same time for 1 week. Yeah.
Just sitting there like, oh. That'd be wild.
The goal isn't really. We hope to have fun, but the goal isn't fun. The goal is kind of to reset. That's the goal. To disconnect and to reset.
I'm very excited. We're very excited.
My goal is to not look at any screen except my Kindle screen. That's my goal.
Which doesn't really count.
Yeah, because yeah.
It's like a paper screen.
Paper white screen. I think it should be fine. It's not screens that cause the issue. It's brightness. So if I keep the light off, it should be fine and just use background lights. You'll hang out with Bert? Actually, have you figured that out?
Vaguely.
Okay.
I'm still working on it.
I mean, at the end of the day, we could just fill his dish full of food and water and he'd be fine.
No.
He would be if
he
we put enough food in there.
At least a couple times.
I'll watch The Chosen while you're gone. You should absolutely
get it
do
done.
That.
Binge it.
Always a good thing to separate from social media and reset. Yeah. The boys are going on an adventure to find One Piece while you were gone. What?
What does that mean?
The TV show?
Oh.
You thought we were on a break last week? No, I had a tooth pulled.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't a break.
Yeah, that wasn't a plan.
Took 1 day?
2 days. 2 days off.
2 days.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Doesn't really count.
Yeah, I went in for a filling. I full on planned to go live the next day. And then they're like, yeah, we got to pull your tooth out. It's right here, by the way, if you want to see it. I have evidence. Here's my evidence. Oh, but John, that's just testimony. Maybe you found that tooth on the sidewalk and you're just lying to us. I was going to put it under my pillow and see what happens. Sam Shamoon my opinion on those guys going after each other is that we all need to stop going after each other until we've solved all the other problems in the world. Then we can beat each other up. Once we solve the problem of Islam and atheism and wokeism and secularism, then we should need to start talking about the interdenominational stuff. And yes, I know they don't consider each other Christian to a certain extent, but like, my goodness gracious. Like, there's a reason I don't focus on Mormonism. I don't really find it a threat. When it becomes a threat, then I'll start focusing on it.
Yeah.
So like my list of like things to focus on is like Islam and secularism. Those are the two things I want to focus on. I think those are the biggest threats to the Christian worldview. Once that's solved, then we can focus on Mormonism and oneness and the heretical viewpoints. Then when that's done, then we could beef about apostolic and Protestant. I think you need to start beefing for people who are furthest away from your worldviews first, and then start beefing with people who are closer to your worldview at the end.
We gotta go.
Okay. God bless. Have yourselves a great day.
Attention, test.